duck hunting with light guns. We have a food channel in our Discord for a very good reason. New Game Club coming soon. And a new segment featuring a new guest. This is Acheesement Hunting 101. Hello and welcome to Acheesement Hunting 101. I'm Fufu Cuddly Poof and thank you for listening. You have made it to level 43. So we've got a packed show for you tonight, and along with that, there we have a bunch of people on the panel. First up, we have Nate. How's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty good. We also have Elle.
I like Toidles.
That hasn't been said in a while. We also have Corey. How's it going?
Hello, everybody.
And lastly, we have Michelle.
Good afternoon, evening, or day. I got the order wrong. This is going to be a long show.
Boy.
Oh, it's going to be a very long
That's fantastic.
Frame here. So, Nate, how is your week going?
Oh, my week's been going okay. Been a little tired after the big boost lately, so I've been kind of not gaming as much. But what I have been doing is a lot of Batman. Batman Arkham Origins J. Blackgate.
Oh, the Canadian version.
Yeah, it's the Canadian version. So I've been playing that. I don't know. I think I only put like an hour or two into it initially a couple years ago. And I've just been going back to it. Really, really enjoying the game. I kind of didn't want to follow the guide the first time through. So I only used it to make sure that I wasn't like missing anything or forcing a fourth playthrough, as there are 3 playthroughs for that completion. So yeah, I just finished my first playthrough and I just started my second. And the second one's going to be a lot faster, and the third one is maybe not as fast as the second, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I could easily look this up, but does that game have a speedrun achievement?
No, it does not.
That's, I guess, good. What's a fast playthrough, since you got to play it so many times?
Okay, so the first time I played through, and the very first time you play through, you'll get a leaderboard time, unless you put on one of his suits. And you have to collect 5 pieces of armor for each suit in order to wear one. So if you don't put that on, you'll get the leaderboard time. I happen to get 10 hours, I think, on my first playthrough. Not really using the guide so much, but for cleanup stuff and just to make sure I was on the right path. It really ruins it. It really ruins the game to just sit there and say, okay, go to this room, go to this room, go do that, open this crate, do that. Really ruins the experience. You're not going to be enjoying the game at all. But, I mean, if you like the points, and that's all you're in it for, okay. But I feel like it would be a grueling 15 hours if you did that. So this second playthrough is going to be much faster. I'm familiar with the layout. I'm familiar with the mechanics for all the boss fights. What I would recommend doing is playing it naturally. Enjoy the game. When you get stuck, go ahead and check out the guide. You're going to be playing it 3 times if you want the full completion. So if you do happen to miss something on your first natural playthrough, or you just don't feel like grinding out all the collectibles, most collectibles do carry through. So from one playthrough to the new game plus to the new game plus after that, they will carry through. So you can clean up on your second run. You don't have to do it on your first run. Now the TA walkthrough is pretty good, but I had to kind of cross. I had to go over to IGN to find some other things that maybe weren't as well done in the TA guide. But that was only for maybe 3 collectibles. Everything else was pretty well laid out in the guide.
Okay.
And aside from that, my Wi-Fi.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Have you played all the Batman games?
I have played all the Batman games, yes.
Now, Origins gets a lot of hate. Do you agree with it? Because personally, I liked it. I think it's the worst out of the 4 of them, but I still liked it. I didn't hate playing it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a good game. It's a fun game. It's a Batman Arkham game. It may not be exactly the same as the others, But what I've realized, in reflecting back on this Metroidvania, is that this game is just good. This whole series is really good.
It really is.
Like, Batman Arkham is just really solid from top to bottom. It's 400 gamer score, so people in Tennessee aren't going to be happy. But it is a really well-crafted 400 gamer score. Like, the amount of time that goes into this 400 gamer score is, like, so much more than, like, these other kind of garbage games.
Without question.
These arcade games. So, it's a great game. So if you're looking for fun and gamer score, that's the one to go for. And then just real quick, I was having issues with my Wi-Fi this week. I could not get the 360 downstairs to connect to the Wi-Fi, and now it seems like some things on the other Wi-Fi upstairs are not working. So I am buying a router. So I will not
Yay, new toys.
So I will not be talking so much in sales today as a result.
First time for everything.
What are you on your 56K modem now or something like that?
No, I'm limping along on my Asus. Hopefully it'll last another day.
Remember the olden days when you had a 14.4 modem and then the 28.8 came out?
Yeah, when the numbers were small enough.
Doubled the speed. Then you doubled that and got the 56K. It's a good time. Kenny and Corey are looking blankly.
Oh, no, I have absolutely no idea what you're doing. What you're talking about, but I am doing a quick speed test just to get an idea of what the Verizon router's doing for me.
Do you know what America Online is?
Considering that's my main email address, yes.
CompuServe.
Who still uses American Online email addresses?
Lazy people who don't feel like
Americans.
switching.
I feel like that's a security vulnerability waiting to happen.
The spam folder itself is just a treasure.
How was your week, Al? What'd you do?
I spent a lot of time playing Riddled Corpses EX, which for some reason TA lists as a shoot 'em up. I just assumed it was fell under the roguelike category.
It's both, isn't it?
It doesn't list roguelite as well? It's definitely a shoot 'em up. It's got
Just shoot 'em up.
it's a twin stick shooter.
Damn it,
and
Shin.
It's got very light for a bullet hell elements. But it definitely, having gone through it, it mostly plays like a roguelite. So that's surprising.
That's all
Yeah, I
you're
just
doing
saw
is
that.
dying and upgrading and
You-
coming
Yeah.
back.
So you start off as the first character, John, and you probably are going to die on the first stage, but there's only 5 stages. And then you get with whatever gold you collect, you keep, and then you could upgrade your characters and earn new characters. And each new character you earn has a better special ability.
Use your special ability, Al.
There it is. Eventually, you wind up upgrading all the characters. You find whichever character works for you, and you could play in 2-player local co-op, which is very helpful. Because say you start off with 3 lives, but one of the characters has 6 lives. If you have 2 characters with 6 lives, that's like a lot of lives and stuff. The biggest benefit to playing co-op seems to be that when one player runs out of lives, you can steal a life from your partner, and when you do that, you activate a dynamite, which blows up both enemies on the screen, so that's very helpful. Michelle and I went through it on my tag, and then she wound up with it on her random to-do list as well. So she played by herself, I think. And then we finished up the last achievement on my tag, which is to complete the arcade mode, which is going through the whole game in the arcade mode without dying.
Well, without losing all your lives. You're going to die a lot.
Oh, yes. Well, yes. In the regular version, you can start off at any level that you've made it up to. This one, you have to go all the way. To clarify. So, I had a real good time with that game. And I really like the soundtrack. There's a chiptune version, and then there's an arranged version, which makes this game the EX version, because I believe just the original Riddled Corpses was on Steam. And then when you beat the game, you unlock another soundtrack, which I'll keep mysterious. And those are all on Spotify, and they're just really good. So I've been listening to them. So that was my big game that I played this week.
That's another completion, right? You got everything.
I did complete it. Oh, I also finished the story of SteamWorld Dig. I didn't get the completion, but I just did my first run. So I got all the achievements except for the big 3, which is beating the game without dying, in which I believe you can dashboard, and then finishing it in under 2 hours and 30 minutes.
How about you, Corey? How was your week?
Well, my week was pretty exciting. It all acclimated to last night, right when the TA servers happened to be conveniently down. So nothing scanned in until after I went to bed. But I got my full combo in RTDL.
Woo-hoo. Way to
So
represent
that-
the podcast,
Nice.
Corey.
Thank you. That was a chip off the back there. I did have a somewhat easy list. I did take a re-roll on my highest achievement, but hey, 25 random achievements is still pretty good. I'll go over some high-level
Nicely
stuff. Thank you. So just over the past week, 5 of my achievements were in Borderlands, the Game of the Year edition. I was actually worried about this one because I didn't look into them, but it turns out 2 of them were from one of the DLCs, and it was early on. 2 of the other ones were back-to-back in the other DLC, and so I was able to take a high-level character and go right through them. And then the other achievements were getting an ability kill with a siren, so that's super easy. And I think that was it. And win a duel. So that was easy done with the second controller. So that was 5 achievements done and dusted right there. I did finally play Oxenfree for a second time. I had to go through all the collectibles this time, so I did use a guide. But that game, it's a good game. I'm glad I played it the first time, not knowing anything, just going right into it. But I am dreading having to play it a third time for the last set of achievements. But it's good for now. The other game that I pretty much had to play from the start was a somewhat newish one called Desert Child. If you're not familiar with this, I don't even know how you would describe it, but you take jobs and race in these like Star Wars pod type shooters, and it's side scrolling, and you win and you make money, and you have to feed yourself, fix your bike, and you can just buy random stuff. I really don't get the point of the game, although I haven't quote unquote beaten it. I just had to do some collectible achievements, but I got most of the achievements done in that game. One tip of advice, if you were ever to play it, the guide says to put all your power cells into your bike and just keep it on this one piece that you get from the start, which gives you more ammo. Well, I kept doing that, but my ammo wasn't increasing. You actually have to apply those power cells to this piece. So if you ever run into that and you're not progressing like you think you should, check that. That brought me down to my last 2 achievements, one of which was fairly easy in Song of the Deep, but that was a new game for me to start. It was my 3rd achievement in the game. But the one that I was most concerned about was from Infinity Runner. And if you were in Discord and you saw on the RTDL channel how I complained about this game, I had several on my list from this month, but this one was a closer to the in-game achievement, and it was for beating a certain set of levels on hard. And I was playing through on normal, and I quickly noticed about almost halfway through, maybe not, maybe just a third, that hard mode was not available for the levels I was on. So I had to go back from the beginning and play hard mode. And from what I can tell, hard mode means less lives. You get 2 in particular, with very, very, very few ways to gain lives. And you might go a little faster. And so this comes down to, if you haven't played this game, I think Waka and Elroy both talked about it. I hated it. They might have different opinions. Kingsman loved it. But you're basically running, and you can go left, you can strafe left, you can strafe right, you can go stay in the middle. And you're going to come up to some tight turns that you have to go left or right, or you can pick your path. You got checkpoints along the way, but there will be hazards, different hazards that you come through that you might have to jump over, duck under, go to the side and jump, or just swiftly move. But you're going to die probably a lot in this game, and it comes down to strict memorization. there are some tricks in the game where you can pause, and as soon as you unpause, you have 3 seconds where it kind of slows you down. So you can kind of like take a quick turn, pause, see what's coming up, and prepare for it. That wasn't really working for me. There's also videos on the internet. All these runs are static, so you can watch a video and whatever happens in their play through, that's going to happen in yours. I was going through that for for the first level that I needed to, and it was just too convoluted and too much for me. I did end up dying, even though I knew what was coming up, and that means I had to go start back the video from the beginning. And these levels aren't long, but when you're taking them a turn at a time, or even a few turns, it's going to take a little bit of time to go through it, and it just wasn't working for me. So I buckled down and got through. It took me a while on the third level, but then something clicked, and I hit the next 6 or 7 levels off the bat, until I got my achievement. And I've got the 25 unlocks, so now I can rest for the month and prepare for next month, curating and locking other achievements that I don't want to pop up next month. So fun times for sure.
Do you ever consider this is the first month in a while you've been really going for it in RTDL, right?
Yeah, I've gotten a full combo before and gotten in the 20s a couple times, but it's been at least 6 or 9 months probably since I've really looked at my list, I would guess.
So do you ever consider, or have you ever considered that taking a game that you kind of want to show up on your list, but since you have 9 days, like making some progress in it, so something later in the game will show up, but it won't feel like you have to play so much of it? Like, have you considered curating your list in that sort of way? Or you're strictly talking about just adding and pulling off whatever it is that you want to do just by what's already available at this point in time?
Kind of both. I definitely, it's kind of funny you mention that, because I am sort of preloading some achievements. Like, I really want them to pop up on RTDL because I'm ready for them. And like, one of them's like an 8 ratio, and I'm just sitting on it when I could go and lock it within 5 minutes. So there's definitely some that I kind of wait on, especially if it's near the end of the month and I know it's coming up. But sometimes I just get too impatient. I'll just go ahead and pop them anyways. But that's definitely a strategy I take on just several games. Most games, it would just be whatever's on my tag and, filtered to come through, which is right now is about 1,300 achievements for me, which is fairly low. I get it. It gives me a low max point total, but that's okay. I would imagine that most people probably have some preloads going for them if they're interested in this competition at all.
Right, I imagine the same.
How was your week, Michelle?
Well, my week, I looked through my list on TA of what achievements I've earned this week, so I could have a story to tell, and I really did not play all that much this week, between being busy with various things and working a lot and sleeping for 12 hours last night because I'm old and eventually stuff catches up with you.
That honestly sounds wonderful right now.
It is wonderful, except for you never sleep that long and wake up refreshed. You just want to sleep more. There's like a sweet spot of sleep hours, and that was overdoing it. So I spent all day being just as tired as I was before I crashed for 12 hours last night. But that said, I didn't really play a lot this week, so trying to come up with a good achievement game or story was a little tricky, because I got most of my achievements for the past week only across 4 games. One of them is Whittle Tree Adventures, which I'll maybe talk about a little later if we have some time, but if you know anything about it, it's just an easy 1K game and something I played mostly for streak preservation purposes. I got a handful of achievements in WWE 2K18, also because, oh my god, it's getting late and I'm exhausted and I need something quick. And then the other games I played at any length were Phantom Breaker, which Elle talked about last week, and I didn't want to retread that, and Puyo Puyo Champions, which I just want to update everybody, Elle did not buy, so it still was from my pocket.
Surprise!
So, I mean, and that was a little story right there. But that left me with one achievement. And that was from Borderlands 2. So it's not a great story, but as we were talking about...
It's a great game.
Well, you air quotes.
I know who I'm talking to.
But as we were talking about RTDL and all that stuff, L actually this month on his RTDL list had an achievement in Borderlands 2 that is for playing as Zero, the sniper character, and that's Unseen Predator. And it's for staying in Zero's cloaked mode for 10 seconds. In our playthrough of Borderlands 2, I've been the sniper, and I have not earned this achievement playing naturally. There are skill trees in Borderlands, and I just don't have my skill tree spec'd for long times in the cloaked mode, and I think you extend your cloaked mode by getting sniper shots, but my strongest weapon isn't a sniper rifle because our weapon drops have been awful, and that's why the game has been terrible. So, right at the end of our Borderlands 2 session this past week, which is probably the first time we've played in 6 or 7 weeks because we always come up with reasons not to, I once again found myself in a position where I hadn't had an achievement for the day and it was late and I wanted to go to bed. So I was like, Pro and I just knocked this out. This is going to be simple. Just, there's a trick to it. So if any of you have not done this achievement, first you need to get Zero up to level 5, which is probably the longest part if you don't have high level characters who can just get you leveled up really quick. Once you get to level 5, you get access to the special ability. So you hit left bumper to access the special ability. What you have to do is you have to summon a certain type of vehicle, and it's a vehicle where it has 2 seats in the back, so you can move in and out of cover in those 2 back seats. You need to access your special ability, wait till there's 1 second left on the timer, and then just start mashing A so you move in and out of cover. And when you do it right, Zero moves in and out of cover and stays cloaked. It sort of glitches the game into thinking that it lets you stay cloaked if you are doing that at the last millisecond. And you do that enough and eventually it pops. So this did work, but as with all things like this, because there was an audience, something that probably should have taken me 2 or 3 tries, it's like 15 minutes later and I'm exhausted and aggravated and they're both cool. They're like, yeah, don't, just keep trying. I'm like, I hate everybody and everything, but I got it done. And so I'm 1 achievement richer in Borderlands 2, and maybe we'll finish that before 2020 so we can actually use it for one of our Better Completions Matter categories. But yeah, that was really my whole week in gaming. Not that much going on. Kind of been a little bit on a quiet ride lately.
I remember doing that achievement specifically, like leveling up to level 5 and then getting it, but I don't remember doing it that way. Luckily it was a very short way to do it, like in the beginning of the game, because I did not play as Zero as a main character. I just don't care for that character class, but that's good that you got it done.
Yeah, I think the game has 60-something achievements, and I think that was my 49th in it, so achievement-wise, we are finally kind of getting to the light at the end of the tunnel. And the Torg campaign has been funny, at least. Every time we play it, we're all amused by Torg screaming. He's a great character and interesting, and the other characters in there, Moxie and Tiny Tina, and all that stuff is good. Like, the game really finally feels in this DLC to have the character of Borderlands. So that's been good in that way. It's just for a variety of reasons, Thursdays don't work out all the time. But we'll get there eventually.
I was going to say...
definitely eventually.
Without that glitch, you couldn't get that achievement for a while, right? So it's actually very helpful to not have to do another whole playthrough with this Zero character. Because you would have had to wait for your skill tree for a higher level, I believe, to unlock the ability to stay cloaked longer.
Quote, legit, yeah, you'd have to level up quite a bit, I believe. I don't think the other characters, they have specific achievements as well, but I don't think theirs is, you would have to play nearly as much.
Hopefully not.
Maybe Gunzerker. Maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know, it's been a while.
All right, well, I've really only played two games of significance this week. The first game is Jurassic World Evolution. I imagine none of you actually much care about that game, but if you don't know what it is, it's basically Zootekken with dinosaurs. I've been making some progress to that. I've been kind of like a goal to get that completion.
Yeah, last you talked to us, you were on a title update. Have you got the base completion yet?
I haven't. I kind of messed myself up and restarted something that I shouldn't have, and I reset my progress.
That's not smart.
No, it was very not smart. But the main thing I want to talk about, I kind of want to give a little bit of review, is Crashbots. It's the other game I played. Now, this game I actually wound up streaming Saturday night. I know Corey, you were in the chat, and Jay Black and Brooke. Three of you basically were sitting there and watching me fail and die and die and die and die some more. And
he almost broke another controller. His wife had to warn him.
I did not almost throw my controller. I knew better this time. I can't break this one.
I think you gave it a pretty tight squeeze.
I did give it a couple of tight squeezes because some of these levels frustrate me. But
tight squeeze is not the secret phrase this week. Don't try it.
But just to kind of give an explanation of what this game is, if you don't know, basically it's kind of similar to what you were talking about earlier, Corey, Infinity Runner, where it's get from point A to point B without dying or getting hit as little as possible. And it's the endless runner kind of a thing where, your character just runs, you can't actually slow it down or whatever. And then you have to jump over things, slide under things. Your character has a jetpack, so there's different spike pits that you have to fly over. As the name implies, you're a robot, and you have energy. And this energy, and the energy constantly depletes. Just as you're shooting your guns to destroy so many enemies or obstacles, your energy's going down. You just simply running, your energy goes down. Jetpack, sliding, and as you go through, there's batteries so you can replenish your energy and whatnot. The game is on TA. It's listed as a platformer, which it is. Game is relatively difficult. As of right now, there's 141 tracked gamers, and no one has completed it. And just going over to the achievement list, I don't think there'll be a completion anytime soon, just because of the difficulty of it. I could be wrong. Very well, as soon as this comes out, someone will probably have it completed just to prove me wrong. But yes, this is the kind of game where you're going to consistently die over and over and over. Each map that you go through, it has 3 stars and a bunch of collectibles. You need to earn all 3 stars, and this being published by Sometimes You, it kind of has that like spiral splatter feel to it, or like the setup, I guess you can say, where each level, like I said, 3 stars, and then in order to get to the next world, you have to have X amount of stars, and as you beat a level, there's another level, and there's just a ton of levels in it. I was looking at it, I want to say there was like 5 different worlds, and I believe each one has like 50 different levels. So there's actually quite a bit of game here.
Yeah, I don't remember where you got to. Maybe like the 4th world or something?
I actually didn't I unlocked the next world. So the first world is like a labs, the second world is a forest, and the other 3 is factory, a haunted house, the Wild West, and then a neon world.
Maybe it was too far. I remember seeing. I just know that you played a lot of levels for a little bit over an hour, and you died a lot. But the levels didn't seem too long.
No,
you
the
seem
levels
to run
really
out of energy pretty quickly.
Yes, there's been plenty of times where you just run out of energy and wind up dying. Just like I said, you're just running. You're just running, and it's like, oh, the goal's in sight, and I run out of energy, and it's just, that's where the controller almost got thrown into the couch this time, because that's frustrating. I think in the hour and a half, 2 hours-ish that I played, I want to say I did about 40 levels or so amongst the 2 worlds.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And so the thing is, you said 141 tracks, 0 completions. It's a $10 game.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it is Sometimes You, so there's weirdness. But it's not as quick as some of their other titles. This is like a perfect Ratalaika game that would be totally fun to play and complete probably within an hour or 2 max.
Oh, if this was Ratalaika, I probably would like this way more for an achievement list.
But I think that goes to show, again, as we mentioned before, achievement list can make or break your game as far as sales go. This one is just too hard of a list. It's the price is okay, but it's not the best, and the amount of people who've played it shows that. So
I think it's a very important qualifier, though, that you added so far as sales go, because as we talked about before, we're all in it for the achievements, so that's a very important consideration when we're considering our purchases. The general gamer, sometimes we don't think so much about like just playability and is it fun, and because if the achievement list is too hard, it ruins part of the fun for us. Or for some gamers, if the achievement list is too easy, it ruins some of the fun for them. So that qualifier is super important insofar as sales, especially as we see them tracked on TA. An easy list does make the difference. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know if Fufu agrees, but the game actually like visually looks good. I would actually play this game, but I don't really want it to, sit on my tag because I know I'm not going to play it very long and get very far in it.
I mean, in all honesty, being a $10 game, I don't find that outrageous. I think that's, I mean, there's 250 levels, and it is the same thing kind of over and over and over again, or 250-ish levels, I should say. I don't actually know. There's a lot of levels in this game, and even though it is kind of the same thing over and over, it does get harder, and if this is your kind of game where you like those skilled platformer type of a thing, you might actually enjoy this game. I enjoy them for the short times that I have with it, but it also isn't the kind of thing where I'm never going to try for this completion. That's definitely not my cup of tea.
2 quick questions, and you may have already covered them and I just missed it. Were the levels randomly generated?
No.
Okay,
they're
so
not randomly generated.
So you can memorize it. And
yes.
And have you ever played?
I was gonna say they are not randomly generated or procedurally generated, but everything is on a timer, and that timer does not reset upon your death. So you couldn't do the same exact actions over and on. Yeah.
And then the second question was, have you ever played Joe Danger?
I have not.
Okay. Because it just reminded me of Joe Danger when I was watching some of the video.
It's funny how those things go, because I really had no interest one way or the other in this particular title, but as soon as you mentioned Joe Danger, it's like, the antenna went up and things are pinging in my brain. Where, what? Joe Danger that's worth more than 400 points? Tell me more.
Yeah, that's actually something that while I was playing with it, and that I was thinking, this is similar to Trials in that, you have to you kind of have to memorize the level. You play it, die, do better next time. Play it, die, do better.
You were not doing better for the viewers. I will say that.
Oh, I was not doing better for the viewers. I will say I'm going to try to get that stream up on YouTube here, hopefully this week. So if you would like to watch it, you can. You can see me getting frustrated. One thing to keep in mind with this game is, since it is a sometimes it does sometimes pop. Achievements do sometimes pop on your tag. I had multiple profiles, happened to have multiple profiles signed in while I was playing this, and if you're looking at my tag for whatever reason, you're wondering, like, kind of, you didn't play this game. None of the achievements wound up popping for me, unfortunately. So that hour and a half-ish time that I would have gotten 100 points or so. Yep, didn't get none of that. Not too big of a deal, but just something to be forewarned about. All right, well, let's move into some news. Corey, you had something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so there is an interesting development in the third-party attachment world in 2019. Who would have guessed? I probably wouldn't have thought about this if anything of it if it was Nintendo, but it's not. Xbox is getting a light gun and camera attachment in 2019.
All right.
So yeah, the third party maker PDP, they make a lot of controllers and whatnot, and I think they make fairly, decent quality items. They are making a gun specifically designed to use this special USB camera. So that's two things that you're going to have to use to play what I'm about to tell you. And it tracks the gun's movements and whatnot. And the gun itself, I believe, costs $29.99. Okay, that I guess seems about what you would think. Now you're going to have to bundle that with a game. They have starter packs where you get the gun and the game for $99.99, and that is a choice of one of 3 games: Big Buck Hunter Arcade, Cubit's Quest, and Voyage of the Dead. All of these are up for pre-order, so you can look them up. I think they're only in North America right now on Amazon and GameStop, so you can look them up. And there might even be a promotion somewhere where you get a free second light gun. But it was really interesting to me that something like this, people are putting effort and time and money to make for something that I see on the clearance rack in 3 months' time. Just like Starlink. Like I could have got Starlink for $20 months ago. I'm hoping this goes $20 very soon, because I would actually buy this for $20 versus Starlink.
So nobody buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody buy it right now.
But when you do buy it, you're not going to get the second light gun.
True. Well, if there's no achievements for a second light gun, then I'm cool with that. I would have to check. Right now, if you were to click on some of the links, I think 2 of them work. One of them takes you to an old Big Buck Hunter arcade, so I don't even know if that one's published yet. But I don't know. It just struck me as interesting that something like this is coming out. I would definitely play it, like I said, but I'm not in at $100. The additional gun kind of like makes me do a double take, but I still couldn't do it right now. Only for the fact that there's 3 games, and you don't even get them all 3. You only get one of them. So
this just boggles my mind. Like, when I saw this link in the rundown document for the show today, Mars light gun's coming soon to Xbox One. And of course, I know what a light gun is. I grew up and had a zapper in my home. And I'm like, that can't be what that means, right? Like, it must be some new franchise, but it's a light gun. And it needs a peripheral, right? Because I think Nate, I might need to phone a friend on this one, but the light guns we were growing up with, it had to do with like the tube on the TV. So that's how it approximated the placement of where you were trying to shoot things. Our current HD TVs are not arranged that way, so it needs an extra peripheral in order to make the main peripheral work. So just the whole fact that somebody took the time to develop this and is putting it out at $99. Now, we know the gun is $30. So these games, they think these games have a $70 value additionally? Is that like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. And even we talked earlier about how an easy achievement list can make a game move. And that is true. We definitely know about how when, what was it? DC Universe Online? Was that it, where there was the $80 DLC that made it a 1-hour completion?
Yep,
and
something like that.
Enough people bought that the estimate for that game on TA is 0 to 1 hours, even though anyone who plays it naturally will tell you that that's absolutely not the case. So there are people who will spend $100. There are the collectors of the world who want every game on their tag, and they'll spend that. But who's the market for this? Like, who is the target audience for this
The
game?
same people that wants the Labo for their Switch.
You're not building the gun.
Brother. And this is Freem's brother that is doing the Big Buck Hunter at home. The
professionals.
Yeah, the pros.
Which,
Yeah,
speaking of Big Buck, and you were talking about achievement lists making or breaking it, yeah, Big Buck Hunter Arcade has one unobtainable achievement.
Well, I
Unobtainable.
think TA was just linking to a previous
version.
Big Buck
Yeah.
Hunter Arcade that had come out. Because this one is $20, so why would you spend $100 on a package when you can get this for $20 digitally and buy a $30 gun? So
They're hoping you don't see that.
I don't think... I think TA was just linking to its closest approximation of what the game will be. The other two games, Cubit's Quest actually has a tracked gamer who has one achievement and has a release date of February 11th, so that information completely doesn't compute because the game doesn't seem to be out anywhere else. I don't know many other games that come out and it's 3 months later and there's still only one tracked gamer. And the third game, what was it, Voyage of the Dead? Some
Voyage
zombie
of the Dead
shooter sounding game, has a release date of July 2019. So that probably is more accurate about when we're actually going to see this peripheral and the attached games. But I got the U-Draw tablet. It was also an abject failure and didn't take long before you could buy one for a couple bucks. But I understood it because it was, you could draw on it and then you could do sort of Pictionary style games. A light gun in 2019? I just don't get it.
I don't get
Now,
it either.
Does anyone go to the arcades anymore? Are these still a thing?
Well,
People still play Time Crisis?
There are these
No, you go
dead
to the
malls,
arcade.
and it's a dead malls. They have cameras and arcades.
Now,
Did you guys
to
know?
Be fair,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You were setting up a point.
Did you guys know that there's a new Halo arcade game?
I was just about to mention that.
I think it's 4-player gun game.
Yep. When I was in Ocean City a month ago, they have an arcade on the boardwalk, and Brooke and I went in it. And they do have a couple of these games, Time Crisis, Terminator Salvation.
Those are the old school ones.
I forget a couple of the other ones, but yeah, they had the Halo one, and I was playing it. It's actually kind of fun.
I was just at arcade party recently, and there's a new Tomb Raider game also. That's actually a shooter for some reason.
Tomb Raider?
And there's yeah.
Well, arcades.
And there's a Walking Dead one too, I believe. So yeah, I think it's still a thing.
No, but
if-
arcades have changed, right? Because these are not the arcades we grew up with. Although they've hit a second life too, in the form of barcades. So that's, at least in hipster Brooklyn, not too far from where I work, that's a big deal now. Is putting in these, coin-op 25-cent machines with Gauntlet and whatnot, and all these guys with man buns love playing them, and it's great. They do great business. So that's come back around.
Sandwich badly.
But there's this sort of new life for arcades in terms of the Dave & Buster's in the world, and other restaurant chains and bowling alleys and things like that that use movies, theaters as well, that use arcade machines as a value add to the time that you're spending there. So it's not surprising that those games are getting developed, because you're also putting in $1 or more per play to play the game for about 3 minutes. And the whole point is your kid is there and they're complaining because there's a gun there and they want to shoot it. And you go, okay, at least you're not hurting anybody. Go for it. And you spend your $1. So that makes sense, right? They're taking advantage of the captive audience in there. I'm not a captive audience about this light gun, big buck hunter game. Like, I don't need to have that in my collection, and I don't imagine there are many gamers that when they woke up this morning, if somebody asked them, what's the thing you really want to see at E3, they went, a light gun. I just don't think that that's really what the gaming public has been clamoring for. I mean, I'm not against its existence, I'm just confused by it.
I have such good memories of House of the Dead on the Dreamcast, and do you remember a game called Point Blank on the original on PlayStation?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember Duck Hunter. Or Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunter.
Whoa.
See?
That was the Chinese version,
The slightly off-colored light gun.
This thing would be cool when, like we said before, it goes on a clearance rack and it's now $20, and it's just like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up.
I
play
would
it.
totally play it, but $100, yeah.
$100? No way.
I'm on Team Corey. Wait for it to go down.
Well,
Go
when
ahead.
when you guys play Mango's one at Achievement Fest, you'll have to report back.
Yeah, maybe it's just it's I'm not anti-peripherals, although I think time has shown that unless you're Nintendo, at this point, they're just not being purchased, right? Like, we've already been through a Tony Hawk skateboard and a U-Draw tablet and DJ Hero turntables. But with all those things as they were coming out, I got it because they were trying something different. There hadn't been a skateboard peripheral, and there hadn't been a tablet peripheral used in that way. And the turntable was actually pretty cool. It had such a limited shelf life anyway of what it could possibly be used for. We've been down the light gun road. There was the Super Scope 6 and all that. Like, this is not a new concept, and I don't know that this is an old concept that anyone wanted made new again.
Yeah, I think the plastic peripheral time has just passed. Rock Band and Guitar Hero seems to be like the peak, and it just hasn't bounced back, in my opinion. My biggest fear with this is that you would invest in it and no other games would come out, and the games that do come out, if they are, they're going to be full price games. And I just
like the Super Scope.
That's a reality. That's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Like the U-Draw and its 3 games? Yeah.
Right, now the 2 games that are not Big Buck Hunter are both published by Performance Designed Product. So I imagine that's actually the publisher of the light gun who is then taking on the publication responsibility for these games. So that's kind of cool, I guess, if they're going to kind of scout out there for developers, because games aren't developed by them. So if they're going to scout out for developers who make games that might work with this peripheral, because the one game, the Cubits Quest, is listed as a platformer. So you have to imagine...
How does that work?
Right. So there could potentially be something interesting in there. How well the light gun works, how well the game plays, we won't know. So if their plan is to be a publisher of games just for this, and they're going to scour Steam and find games that might convert well to it, sort of the same way that some games existed in the Steam space and became Kinect games, maybe that'll work, but we know how the Kinect wound up. I don't know how well calculated this risk was, so we'll see.
I mean, I know the way that you can probably make this work. It's clearly not their direction, and the biggest problem is the price. You're not getting me to spend $100 on one game and this gun. That is insane.
Right.
If
it was Duck Hunt,
if you want, no, I don't want Duck Hunt. I want Duck Hunter. If they were to market this, take the Ratalaika approach and make an easy achievement list, and all of their games are $5-6, you'll get plenty of achievement hunters that go, sure, I'll buy this gun. This looks like a neat thing. Oh, and now I can get 1,000 points for $5. I've been doing that with Ratalaika. I'll do it with these guys too. And instead of getting 7 tracked gamers, you'll have 300.
Yeah, and I imagine too that releasing these games physically, especially when we know that the future is consoles without disc trays, it's another thing that's like, I just don't know what the end game here is. So, and also another issue we face as achievement hunters is there could be, with a game like Big Buck Hunter, I shoot 100% of the deer on this stage. Well, what if the tracking's just super terrible? This could be like some of those early Kinect games where their TA ratios are just super, super inflated because the peripheral doesn't work well. So even that niche of players who might buy it if the list looked easy, there's a lot of doubt that's being introduced into its existence before it even starts. So I still just don't get it.
Now, what if they release a patch and they update Time Crisis, and they update Blue Estate, and they update something else?
You could get people to buy into that then. I mean, if I could play the Jurassic Park game, like the arcade games that you could probably play that, or Time Crisis, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, nostalgia is a hard drug.
Yeah.
At the current price point for a bundle, no. But at $30 for just the peripheral, I liked Blue Estate. Right? I know Blue Estate's a bit of a polarizing game, but I feel very strongly that if you take it at face value, and it is what it is, it's fun to play. And it would be more fun to play with a peripheral like this one. So that's a very interesting point. And it would, I think, be easier. Because as somebody who inverts controls, but it's really like on a flat screen, so I don't need to invert controls, my brain just explodes and I can't play it very well. So using a light gun actually might make the game more playable for me. So that's a really interesting question, but certainly not if my only option was the $100 bundle. With just the $30 peripheral, I still wouldn't get it at launch, but yeah, that does make it more palatable.
And what if we were to challenge Mario to play... damn it, what's the name of that game?
Chariot?
Yes, thank you. What if we were
because one thing's on Mario.
Skeptical Mario to play Chariot using the light gun?
Oh, that's it. I'd buy him
I would buy one. I would buy him one.
So the other news article that we got, Age of Empires Definitive Edition got an update and it brought about 12 new achievements. You guys had the chance to play this game yet?
Nope.
Oh yeah, totally.
Nope.
It's on my wish list once it goes cheap enough.
Yeah.
This one costs money. Oh shoot, $20.
Well, the good news is we won't be trying to talk over you with our opinions on it. So take it away, Kenny.
Well, I have yet to jump into this. Big reason is being a computer game. I don't often think of, what am I going to play on my computer? So I haven't played this yet, but I am a massive Age of Empires fan, specifically the second game. So this is cool to me. More achievements for this. I'm all on board. The 12 achievements that was added was win a game through building a wonder, be the first to all ages, research all technologies in a single game, defeat 20 heroes, collect 50,000 of all the resources, kill a Medusa, win a game by holding artifacts, win a game by holding ruins, and win a ranked ELO game.
What's an ELO game?
So an ELO game is basically their ladder. In the Age of Empires, as you rank up, you get assigned a point system. So, you might be 1300 ELO, 26, 100, whatever. However, it depends on how many games you've won, yada, yada. Instead of other games, where you have a set level. And this is, straightforward. Win a game. You play a ranked match, and you just got to win. Off the bat, as soon as I read that, I went, that might actually be kind of difficult, depending upon how good you are, because, if you're playing ranked, it's generally better people. But then again, this could be easily boosted. You get in a game, your opponent resigns, boom, achievement unlocked.
Okay.
I can't imagine there's too many hardcore AoE fans out there right now.
You would be surprised. Maybe not the first one, but...
The remake, the HD remake.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Age of Empires 1, no. Age of Empires 2, yes. They're actually just concluded a tournament, and the winner of the tournament won $10,000, so...
Wow.
Well, never mind.
Yes.
Time to get good, right?
Can I use cheats? Can I bring in that blue car?
No, you cannot turn this thing on.
Huh? You can't turn cheats on?
That went over all of your heads, and that's
it's a cheat code, I bet.
The cheat code to bring about the Cobra is, you hit enter, type in how do you turn this thing on, and then it pops up.
The only way to play that game.
Right over everyone's heads. I'm so alone right now.
Well, you're also alone in that you won't be picking up any sales this week, I'm imagining.
Ooh.
Don't.
No, please, L. No.
Ooh.
No, Corey, take it away, please.
What?
Hurry.
All right, so there's a lot of sales this week. And I just want to tell you about 4 that I would recommend to you. I have completed all 3 of these, and one I'm currently working on. That would be Wakapeil 2, $10. Don't even think about it. Grab it. Yoku's Island Express is $6.59, and I'm currently working on it. And my in progress review is it is really fun and great. No complaints so far.
You are correct.
The other 2 would happen to be 360 backwards compatible, because there is a huge backwards compatible sale. They are Skate 3 and Bully at $5 and $6 respectively. Bully is one of my favorite all-time Rockstar games. I would love a remaster or a sequel on the Xbox One. And just to preface these with the achievements, I've completed these. They can't be too hard of games. And I know I put a lot of time into Skate 3, so that one might be a play it enough and you get good, but it's a quality game, and even though I can't get any achievements in it, I still go back to it occasionally because it is backwards compatible and it looks really good on the Xbox One. So don't even hesitate to get those games if you're teetering on them at all. But I think Nate has a game he was going to get as well.
Well, I do, but I was also going to go over all of the backwards compatible games that I'm going to be picking up. So,
all right, I'll be right back in about an hour.
So buckle up. There's only 30 of them.
Now, unrelated, is there a certain maximum of tabs you can have open at any time on Google Chrome?
Well, I'll let you know if my computer crashes.
Okay.
Fug has had 96 at one point.
How many do I have?
Oh.
Yeah, I've got quite a few. Let me just count here, just for giggles. 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14. Let's just say there's 40. I'm just going to estimate.
Good Lord.
I have 40 tabs open.
Are you going to read all 40 of those like the end of a car commercial?
Yeah, we can do that. I can read all those off at some point. But these are games that, I'm interested in, and where I was just like, what the hell is that called? It's, where is it? Go Break Steady.
Oh, Go Break Steady. I know that game quite well.
Grip Shift.
Yeah.
And,
Grip Shift, I don't know.
Yeah, Mattism mentioned Fable Heroes. He wants to boost that, so I think I'll be picking that up. I was thinking, and Cleverment Experiment is something that M probably knows about. Okay, well, there's a lot of interesting games there. There's some card games, there's some puzzle games, there's just a lot of stuff that kind of resurfaced to the top because of the backwards compatible sale. But what I'm really wanting to talk about, and I've already talked about it before, so sorry. Skyforce Anniversary. It is $3, down from $10. It is a shmup. It is 1,000 gamer score, 1,881 TA. This game is just fun. I like to chip away at this game, so I would be playing other things, and then at the end of the night when it's time to kind of settle down, go to bed, or if I had, 20 minutes during the middle of the day, I would just kind of chip away at some of these achievements. And there's 2 in the game that are maybe noteworthy. Everything else is progression-based, or you'll be getting them, but these last 2 are just kind of like probably the last ones you're going to get, certainly. The first one is called House of Cards. It's a 3.25 ratio. And basically, what that is getting all of the upgrades for your ship. They come in the form of cards, and they're random drops. So this is an RNGBus achievement. You basically just play, and wait till it drops. And you can sort of play to your favor or try to increase the odds by playing a certain level, which is level 6, over and over on the insane difficulty. As the difficulty levels go up, the chances of drops increase. So you basically, once you get to the end of the game, you've done just about everything. These last 2 achievements are what you're going to be coming in and doing to kind of wind down, collecting all these cards, and then the final achievement, which is the Super Grind, which is, I'll have a bag of those. It's a 3.64 ratio, and that is to get 500,000 stars. You can get those on any level. This basically just score as you're going. But this game is just, it's fun. There's a lot of quick achievements at the start, and it just kind of releases them as you're going on. It's like a long released, a timed released game, if you will. But yeah, rather than go over the 40 backwards compatible games that I'm going to buy and never play, I figured I would talk about Skyforce Anniversary again.
Well, I actually am also looking at the sales this week, and have picked one game that I'm going to focus on. It may be on one of your tabs, so you'll have to let me know. But I'm going to preface this by saying this much. I had a really hard time parsing through the sale because there's just so much. And we're pretty fortunate, right? Because we've been getting games via Games with Gold for a while, and there are games available via Game Pass. But that doesn't preclude them from being on sale because they, not everybody's in Game Pass. So I sometimes have a hard time when I'm looking at a list that is as long as this backwards compatibility sale list, remembering what games might have been available through what avenues, which makes it a little difficult for me to be excited about buying anything, because the last thing we want to do is rebuy something we've already bought, or attempt to do that, or especially if you have a game share partner, buy something they've purchased, so on and so forth. But actually, Elle highlighted to me one of the games on sale this week, and that is Midway Arcade Origins. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, this game includes 30-something-ish of 30-something-ish classic Midway arcade games, as the title suggests. I had borrowed this game back in 2012-ish from GameFly. I held on to it for more months than the value of the game while I had GameFly. I held on to it for even more months than the value of the game because Elle borrowed it and took his time completing it. But he did complete it and I did not. And then I sent it back. So it's been in my collection. It's come up a couple times on random to-do list for me. And I pour through my collection of games and I can't find it. And that's because I don't own it. I sent it back to GameFly 7 years ago. So this is a good opportunity to pick this one back up. The game is normally $20. It's on sale now for $5. It is 1,000 gamer score and clocks in at 1,545 true achievements. The list is 31 achievements, so I guess that's the number of games that's in there because it's basically one achievement per game. And they range in weight from 15 to 90 gamer score. Most of the achievements in this are fairly easy. Now, the ratios could be a little misleading because people play the games that they know. So there are some games in the collection like Bubble that I had never heard of before I happened to get it. But I certainly know Gauntlet, and I know Marble Madness, and quite a number of them. So those were the games I really went to play first. So don't be turned off by ratios in this game. The hardest achievement in the game, and I'll probably actually pass this over to Elle to talk about a little more, is the one from Smash TV. And this is called Reality Show Off, and it's for defeating the first level of Score Attack. It has about a 2.5 ratio, so it's notably harder than most of the rest of it. There is a solution on TA for cheesing the achievement by mashing A to get more continues and more lives, but you need to have 500,000 points first. So your first goal is to go in there, earn a bunch of points, and then you can do this to keep yourself going. One other benefit of this game, though, is it's a great streak preserver game. So if you're unfortunately like me, and unfortunately like Elle, and have this affliction about having to earn an achievement nightly, most of these achievements can be earned within a short period of time. And because it's not a game with a narrative, and it's not a game that's so short like a Ratalaika game where you pop the first achievement and it's like, all right, I've got another 10 minutes, I'm just going to finish it. This is a great game to go, I really don't have a lot of time today, I'm going to just pop into this game real quick, I'm going to do the thing I need to do for 5 minutes, I'm going to get my achievement and move on. So it's for $5, if that's the thing that matters to you, it's a good game to keep on hand. And the emulation of all the games within it, at least the ones that I tried, is pretty good. There are some issues. Something like Marble Madness is never emulated completely effectively because the isometric view and the way it controlled and the arcade cabinet, but the game does a fair job with all this. So I definitely recommend that. And I know, Elle, you're on deck to talk about what you might pick up on the sales, but did you have any other hints or memories from your experience with Smash TV before you go into that?
Not at all.
Nope.
But I see that it was the last achievement I got in the game to complete it. Yeah, so that was in December 2013, so I think we had the game for like 2 years.
Yeah, I wasn't... it sounds like a joke, but I wasn't joking about how long I held on to this game. And every now and again I'd be like, Elle, I'd really like to send that back to GameFly. I just need one more achievement. I know. So... But he got it done. I have to give credit for that. And as soon as that happened, it went back. So, but now it's going to come back into the collection, so I'm excited.
As you always say, if Big L can finish the game, I can finish the game. So I imagine anybody can complete this guy.
There's no more powerful motivator.
Absolutely.
But what are you picking up? What are you?
What am I
actually planning to pick up on the sale? Because you got that $50 with a $10 bonus gift card thing that I was not able to purchase because something went goofy with my Microsoft account. So you're the ones with funds.
And you didn't get Puyo Puyo.
$10 card. What?
So
Did you get it? Because I certainly didn't.
Well, either way, I know you have $50 of Xbox money sitting there. So what are you buying this week?
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and I'll buy it. And I'll buy it. Like that.
That was
Like that. That was good. What band is that, Kenny?
I know.
know.
No idea.
What?
I have absolutely no idea.
You do too. No.
Well.
I mean, if you're waiting for me to guess it, we're literally going to be here all night.
Posh, ginger, baby, sporty,
Spicy.
spicy. Wait, what? Spice Girls, Kenny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Spice Girls.
Ask Brooke, she'll know.
She probably would know because she has a bad taste in music.
Well, alluding to what you were talking about before, sometimes when the list is just so long, I just say, okay, I'm not getting anything.
Mm-hmm. Right, and this is as an aside from the fact that there's also a whole Idea at Xbox sale going on too.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now, actually, and Corey already spoke about Wakapeil 2, which is definitely the big ding, ding, ding as far as I can see. That already being 50% off at $10. Hollow Knight is the other big Metroidvania on sale, but that's only 35% off at $9.74. Jackbox Party Pack 3 for completion hunters is half price at $12.49. If you happen to have any real-life quote-unquote friends or family, they can play that with you.
Now keep in mind with Jackbox, you don't need to have real-life in-person friends. You can always get the room code and throw the game up on Mixer or Twitch and have people join you that way. And that might be something fun for all of us to do someday, too, if people are interested in it. Obviously, it wouldn't be a boost because only one person could get the achievements, but that game is a good idea to purchase because it's not something you're restricted in that way. I definitely have friends I went to college with who will occasionally put a room code up for a Jackbox Party Pack game, and I never wind up playing, but I'll sometimes join the audience and just see the hijinks. So that's no excuse, Elle.
I know. We have 1, 2, and 3. We need 4 and 5 to go on sale. Because who wants to spend $25? Gosh. Well, looking at the easy completions, there's a couple of ACA games. Super Sidekicks 2, which if you look on TA is a typo. It says it's football. Psh! No, it's not. It's soccer. Come on now, TA. Get your act together. And, of course, Aero Fighters 2, which Kenny talked about way back when as a game that tells you what country it's from.
Japan.
A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend told me that you can maybe use an outside peripheral, like a turbo controller, to ease the process
That's
of
against the
these
terms and conditions.
shoot 'em up games. I won't tell you who it is, Kushmoose, but he told me that if you use a special controller, you can have an easy time with this game. Oh, sorry. It was a Moosh Goose.
Just as an aside, are you looking at the list of easy games as per TA, the article they posted? So
I would never look at that.
No,
I make my own list, Michelle.
It's okay to admit to it because it's something
I make my own list.
All right, well, now that you're lying outrightly, Elle's using the list from True Achievements with the 18 quickest completions from the May 21st sale.
Not necessarily.
Please keep in mind, if you happen to be using that it's quickest game completions as per the achievement completion estimates on TA. That does not mean the game is easy. So a game like Hopiko is on there, and it's a 6 to 8 hour completion, but it also has a 3,000 TA ratio.
Or
this could be
ACA game.
Right. I mean, some ACA, not every ACA game is created equal. So just keep in mind that if you're looking at this list in particular, that you should do a little more research, click in and see, because if your motivator is just quick and easy achievements, and easy doesn't always follow suit. All right, continue.
You could probably say that about any game, depending on skill. Unless it's a walking sim where no skill is required, you could probably... Even certain Red-Alika games took some people 15 minutes and took some people over an hour. It just depends on your skill set.
Right, but even the ones who took
That's
over
why their estimates are estimates.
Right. But there are some...
So, like, 3/4 home, that one, that's the reedy one, right?
3/4
Yes, that's
home
the
is
reedy
the one
one.
in black and white. And
That's the reedy
mostly
one.
in a
Yes,
car.
Yes, that
Yeah.
one has no skill required from what I remember. You just have to read words.
Right. I mean, it's just, especially typically when it's a platformer or a puzzler, there are some people on this planet that are just really, really, really good at Super Meat Boy, and they're going to get through that game in, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours, whatever that estimate would be. Most of us will spend 6 to 8 hours dying on level 10. So you're in that way. Like, look at the ratios too. If don't just stop by looking at the completion estimate. Not that the games you mentioned that were that way. I'm just saying in relation to this article on TA.
There was another game I wanted to talk about that a certain Swedish friend of mine might actually have more to say about. And that's on the backwards compatibility sale list. And it is Spec Ops The Line. Normally $29.99. It is $5.99. And every time this game goes on sale, I hear about how great the story is. Maybe, just maybe, one of these days I will play a game for the, what's it called? The story. The fun. Take it away, Waka.
Do you still intend to rescue me, Captain? Now that you've seen what I've done. I admit, my methods are unconventional, but they are necessary.
Hello everyone, I'm Wakapeil, and it seems like my hiatus from hosting the Acheesement Hunting 101 Game Club will be briefer than expected. The backwards compatible Spec Ops The Line is currently 80% off in this week's sale, and I highly recommend it. Set in modern Dubai after a catastrophic sandstorm inspired by the faith of the Persian king Cambyses' 50,000 warrior army 2,500 years ago. I was hesitant jumping into this game immediately after finishing Soma, as the games share similarities despite being very different, but the current price reduction makes this as good time as any to play this fantastic game. While the gameplay is merely good, it features one of the best told stories in video games from the 360 generation. Spec Ops The Line stars the American three-man Delta Squad sent on a reconnaissance mission into Dubai after enduring a massive sandstorm. What starts off as a generic military third-person shooter gradually shifts into something way more personal and terrifying. I want to make it clear that The Line is not a horror story, but it is certainly horrifying. This is not Call of Duty. Stakes are more personal than securing victory for your country or saving the world. The story twists and turns in ways you likely won't see coming, and there is a player choice system, often so subtle you might not even realize it is there. Achievement-wise, everything is single-player related, and rather easy, except for the 2 difficulty-related achievements. If you're going for the completion, I'd recommend starting off with the highest difficulty available, as it unlocks the actual highest difficulty setting upon finishing the story. The 2 achievements for completing it on the 2 highest difficulties are probably the only challenging achievements out of the 50 in the game. Even if third-person shooters are usually not your thing, the story is well worth experiencing, and you might as well play it on the easiest difficulty just to see it through. You might not end up liking it, but that might be a good thing. You certainly won't feel indifferent about Spec Ops The Line. The first discussion will be held around the 2nd of June. Drop by the Acheesement Hunting 101 Discord for more details. The plan is to play 5 chapters a week for 3 weeks, not counting the prologue and epilogue. This means we will stop playing at the beginning of chapter 6 before the first discussion. Have a nice day, everyone.
So I know I was lamenting earlier that sometimes I don't remember what's in Game Pass and what's in Games with Gold, but there are a number of games leaving Game Pass coming up soon. right?
Uh-oh.
Yes, there are actually quite a few games. There are quite a few games leaving Game Pass at the end of May. We have 11 games total. The ones on the Xbox One is D4, Dark Dreams Don't Die. DMC, the Devil May Cry Definitive Edition. Jump Jet Rex. Night Squad. Laser League. Layers of Fear. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings. Super Time Force. Saints Row 4. Thanks, Obama. And then we have one game on the Xbox 360 that's leaving. It's the Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. And then on the original Xbox, no achievements, but in case you care, Star Wars KOTOR, or Knights of the Old Republic. Was it at Games of Gold?
No.
Okay, never mind.
May the 31st no longer be with you.
Yeah.
Buy Star Wars games.
Okay, to soften the blow some, Game Pass did put up on Twitter that they have more game announcements coming. So it's not out yet as of our recording time, but before the end of the month there will be more games coming to the service.
One of them that I can almost guarantee is Outer Wilds. That has been...
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a game preview for...
No, this is... So Outer Wilds is the one that they gave away in the mix pot 2 years ago. So it's probably on your console in pre-ordered status.
It is.
I believe it's coming to Game Pass day one, and a release date was announced this week of... I think it's May 30th or sometime in the next week or two.
Yep.
So that's probably one of them. And the other one, I have an Australian friend who gave me a hint. Might be something to do with a sneaky snake. Zombies.
Eggplants?
Getting closer. Metal Gear something or other.
Survive?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the zombie
terrible
Yes,
one? Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
That one
terrible.
might be coming to Game Pass as well.
That's my understanding.
Consider that a
It's bad.
rumor.
Oh, I hope so, because I passed up the $9 Amazon special last week.
Freem will be happy.
Yeah.
I know. I saw Carnage recently started a game that's coming to Game Pass on May 28th called Void Bastards, but
Oh, yeah. Yep.
it is under embargo, so we cannot say much else. But that is also something we have in the coming days. That's going to be a launch on Game Pass game.
They're taking away a lot there. I'm sure they're going to add a bunch to replace it. So,
Right.
Game Pass is always going to be a good value.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with it's going to be a crap month because Microsoft doesn't know how to go around the hype with E3. So they're going to put in some crap games in the Game Pass.
I feel like they're going to put some crap games in at the top of the month, but during E3 they'll announce
hard
a couple
hits.
of real
Yeah.
big
I agree.
gets.
Let's hope so.
And it's going to come with the caveat that any first-party game they talk about is launching directly into Game Pass. So we're going to hear a lot of that during E3.
I'll cross my fingers for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Ooh,
Oh.
interesting ad. All right, we'll see.
I bet against that one. That'd be a big ad, though.
I'm trying to think of what came out
Doubt.
earlier this year because, they added Just Cause 4, and that came out pretty late last year, and that's been in there for a couple months. So I'm trying to think of big games that came out, earlier.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's a big no.
No,
I mean Forza? Horizon 4?
That's already there.
Crackdown?
That's already there.
Yeah, it's day
What are you
one.
talking about? Oh. Not a Microsoft game. Speaking of Game Pass, there is a Game Pass game that something really awesome happened today. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, which came out in 2015, had one of those achievements called BFA, where you unlock everything. So it was one of those unlockable achievements that just did not pop.
A bad effing achievement.
Yeah. And I once commented on the solution. So every now and again, I see a comment come up and it says, oh, this person unlocked achievement. Maybe they fixed it, but it always turns out to be someone who illegitimately obtained it. And then today I saw 4 comments. And it said, oh, THQ Nordic tweeted that they're fixing it. And lo and behold, it's fixed 4 years later.
Yeah.
Looks like...
So now Elle can finally stop bagging on Darksiders.
No,
game.
not yet.
It's a
not
good
yet.
game, Elle.
The 360 version has not been fixed yet.
Well, it's coming.
Think so?
Sure.
So as of right now, 27 people have unlocked it today. And it's sitting at a 147 ratio.
Whoa.
We'll see. It just got flagged right now on TA as being fixed, so maybe more people will see it now.
Well, it's good for whatever reason that the developer went back and actually fixed something. Because there's just a general sense if it's not fixed in the first patch or two, we just have to accept that it's broken. And it goes to show that there's really no time limit on this stuff. So I'm glad that whatever motivated them to fix it, fixed it. Because I really enjoyed the first Darksiders game and never really got into the second for a variety of reasons. But that's the kind of thing that makes you feel a little warmer toward the publisher and developer, where, oh, you took a little time and thought about us in this niche gaming category.
Yeah, believe it or not, we achievement hunters are a petty bunch. And there are a couple people who said, I will not buy the third game until the second one's fixed. And now people are saying, okay, now I'll buy it.
I literally heard one person say that.
Was it Big Al?
It was Big Al.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling. Look, if you look at the comments, you'll see that I am not alone. And if you look at the tweets that we sent to THQ Nordic, I was not alone. There was at least 3 other people who felt the same.
Dozens, literally dozens.
If that. They in the patch. They also added 4K, native 4K support for Xbox One as well. So it'll look prettier and shinier, I imagine. So yeah, that's some excellent news.
All right, well, let's get on to our contest corner. First up is the BCM and Frame Holes Completion Challenge. Topic this week that we're going to cover is to complete a game that contains an abbreviation or acronym in the title. Nate, take it away.
Yeah, so the game I chose was Cube, which is an acronym that everybody knows. It's a 4 to 5 hour completion, and it's a portal. It's very, very similar to a portal, and I think someone wrote a review for it on TA that might be worth reading. There's definitely a walkthrough, but there's also a review.
I feel like we should read that review.
Just read it word for word on the podcast. In your best accent, Kenny. You could pick the accent. I'm not going to tell you which.
Oh, God.
And then we're going to have Elle guess what it is.
I think Kenny needs to go next.
So Cube keeps coming up on my random to-do list because it's one of those games that I have one achievement left in. And I don't know, Nate, if you looked at the list. Did you look at the list for this game at all? Have you played it yet?
I feel like I started the game, but no, I've not really done too much with it. I watched some reviews. I watched some videos of it and screenshots, as I normally do. Just go through and look at stuff, and it looked like a fun game that I would enjoy. Mm-hmm. I figured, why not? And when I did my search on TA, this was one of the few games that came up with not abbreviations, but acronyms.
Okay, so allow me to give a little bit of advice when it comes to Cube. The majority of Cube's list is not hard. There are video guides out there. You can certainly use them. The mechanics in Cube involve these gloves you have that you can use to manipulate colored blocks, and each color operates in a different way. So a blue block will just raise straight up and down. Yellow ones will come in groups of 3, and depending on which one you aim at, that will be the highest one, and then one will be the second highest, and so on and so forth. So most of it's pretty solvable. You can certainly use a guide, but I recommend trying it on your own. For most people, the hardest achievement in the game is one for, I forget exactly what it's called, but the description is to get through Hover Highway without touching the ground. Now, this doesn't seem like it would be too bad, but there's a whole other gameplay mode in Cube that is like a time trial gameplay. And in order to open up the levels, you have to get a certain amount of medals. So first you have to go through them all to open up Hover Highway, which, according to what I've read, is actually harder than the achievement itself, but I haven't accomplished that. And then you have to complete what you need to do in Hover Highway. And I think the overall ratio in the game is like a 1.4, but this achievement is almost at a 2. What I would recommend is commit to the game. When you're ready to play this game for your Better Completions Matter completion or for Freeholds Completion Challenge, don't leave it until you finish that last one. Because when I've tried to jump back in, even though it's really only, lift the block up, lift the block down, just getting used to things like how quickly the camera turns and how sensitive the look functions are. You have to reacclimate to it, and if you step away from it, it's hard to do. So when you're ready for it, like, make that the game you're playing until you finish it so that those controls stick with you.
Corey, how about you?
So I have picked 3 games for you. I've completed all of them. Unfortunately, actually, I might be able to use one of them.
Unfortunately, you've completed them?
I completed them last year. One of them I might have done this year. I need to check that. Really, they're quick though. Well, 2 of them. Mr. Pumpkin Adventure. Easy point-and-click game. You can probably completed it within 2 hours if you have a guide. Probably not much longer if you didn't.
Not even
The
that.
other game, if your point-and-click's not your cup of tea, is Agents versus Villain. And this is a local party game, I guess, where you take up to 3 players and they need to navigate a course. And then a 4th player is the big bad, if you will. And they manipulate the course in order to try to kill the other player so they can't complete the game. Now, what makes this super easy for a completion is that if you have 4 controllers, well, guess what? You are the big bad and the players trying to win the game. So you can easily navigate through every course and not have any difficulties. The only thing with this achievement, with this game, is that there are some cumulative achievements. I don't remember exactly what you had to do. I think there were deaths, now that I'm thinking about it. And I think you had to get a lot of deaths. And so if you have some kind of third-party hardware to do it for you, it might make it easy. But you know what? Your hands and human nature will do it too. So some perseverance will get you an easy completion there. The last one, if neither of those are up your alley and you do want something that's kind of better for the Better Completion Matter Challenge, because both of those other ones will net you a few points. This one, however, will net you quite a bit. Yeah, maybe 1. This one, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare. You got that versus in there to give you that acronym. But it is about a 50-hour completion. My timer says 58. If you have a group like we did when we boosted this, it won't be too bad. And if you have a better group than us, you could probably get it under 50 hours, to be honest. It was a fun game. There are some randoms that you probably have to deal with, but this was sometime last year when we did it, and I would have to imagine there's even less randoms now. Maybe
2 years ago.
Was it that long?
The last achievement I unlocked for it was September 28th, 2017. So a year and a half.
Oh, well. If you can get a boost going, which you can use our Discord, discord.io/AH101, you could set this up and you could probably knock this out, quote unquote, fairly quickly, and get you some good points and get that abbreviation game completion.
80 some points for the BCM.
Isn't it ratio times estimate?
Yes.
Isn't it like a 3 ratio with a 50-hour estimate?
Is ratio that high?
No, ratio, it's 3300 TA and 1500 gamer score, so it's a little over 2.
It had DLC, I forgot.
Right.
Oh, I
Title
missed the
updates
DLC.
or something.
It's still pretty solid, though, for BCM.
Yeah.
Okay, it's right around a 90 point game if you can play it. That's solid.
Oh, for sure. 90 Radalaikas. Right there. So, yeah. Do you have anything, Kenneth, that you would like to suggest to the good people listening?
So I have 2 easy ones, both Radalaika games. First is Jack and Jill DX, and the second is Super Destronaut DX.
Oh, yeah? What does DX stand for?
Director's Cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, suck
Cut
it.
is a C.
Yeah, I knew one of you guys were
Excuse
going
me.
to kind of call me out on that.
Sure.
Yes, DX usually stands for Director's Cut, so
Really?
it's
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
I thought it
Sonic
was-
Adventure,
I thought it was
and then
deluxe,
there's
but maybe
Sonic
you're
Adventure DX, and the DX is Director's Cut. The X is
Right.
like a cut because you know.
right. I thought it was
I don't know.
deluxe.
I was going to guess deluxe as well.
Well, it would count as an abbreviation, so either way.
Either way.
Yes, either way,
Jinx.
and it's
Yeah.
D with an X. I like that. Director's Cut.
thank you.
Both solid.
And you're wrong.
suggestions That
Go ahead.
will you can complete in about an hour.
It,
Combined.
less than that. It's a
Even
rattle
Kenny
like,
beat
We've
them.
talked about them. Even Kenny's beat. Wait, huh? They're easy games. They're easy Ratalaika games. Quick 1000. Definitely something this community, I'm sure, has already done. So you could easily throw that into the category if you've done them this year. How about you, El?
What I was actually hoping, I forgot to mention in the sales that Soma is once again on sale for $12. So anybody who skipped our Game Club segments can maybe pick it up now and then go back and listen, because Waka worked hard on that and his segments deserve to be listened to. I was hoping that Soma, because it's all in caps, stood for something. But
If you missed it, it's definitely worth picking up now.
Absolutely. I was looking at games I've already completed, and I said to myself, wait a minute, IDARB, I bet that stands for something.
I looked that up. Nope.
So you know what it stands for? Because I had no idea.
Does it really stand for something?
It does.
Yeah, it's like I drew a red box or something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like
I don't
that.
remember exactly what it was, but it definitely sounds for something.
Because if
Yeah,
you go to
it
TA and you look at every single game in the database, hashtag IDARB is one of the first ones, and I could
Maybe
not
that's why I
find
found
the whatever it stood for.
Yeah, it stands for It Draws a Red Box. So I guess that was its initial conception.
Is that your answer?
Sure. You know, as much as people think that TA is full of completionists, this game is a super easy completion, and only about a third of the people who started it have completed it. 17,000 out of 62,000, so...
Well, it was the games with gold. That helps.
Yeah, but come on, people.
And it's on
If you're signed up to TA, you would think we finished the easy games. That's not always the case. But all achievement hunters are not created equal, and that's what makes us so special. Michelle thought I was going to talk about my favorite oily and sweaty, hunks of man in the WWE games. But, nope. Not going to mention WWE games at all.
I didn't even
WWE.
think sports games.
Sure, lots of abbreviations there. NBA, NHL. Not that there's any MLB games on the friggin' one. Just kind of RBI baseball, which I guess is an abbreviation in its own.
Yeah, RBI is. And if you want to go back to the 360 of Nicktoons MLB, is that actually the official title of it? So
All the 2K games.
Yeah, this is probably one of the easier categories to find something in, because it's abbreviation or acronym.
yeah, it's as I was starting to, or are you? I don't mean to step over you. Al, are you?
Not
You have more
trampling.
to add?
Go ahead.
Trample away.
Trample.
So as I looked at this, my immediate thought was Nero, nothing ever remains obscure. But then Corey put out a plea to never talk about that game again.
Did.
So I moved away from that one. But then I had a little trouble actually trying to figure out a good game for this one because it wasn't immediately obvious. And I looked through my history of games, and there were some things in there that would count that I would never use, but just to put it out there, like Ruse, which is a tactical strategy game for the 360 that I think is backwards compatible. That some online services were shut down, but they don't seem to affect achievements, and it has some really easily boostable, very high ratio achievements in it. So for BCM, that might be something to look into.
That game's not really completable, though, I don't think.
I see. I didn't see anything on the list that was marked as discontinued, and I did not look super closely. But I know it says that there are online services that are no longer working, so I didn't get the whole story. So I'm throwing that into the universe, but I didn't do 100% of the research.
I think it's hard.
But
it's only 62 completions out of 10,000.
Yeah,
so.
it is a difficult game, but it also did get a little bit of a bump somewhere along the way, because it's not the kind of game that there would normally be 10,000 trackers for. And then I was like, well, what else could possibly count? And I did the same thing that Elle was doing. Like, I was just typing in game titles to see if anything had like a sneaky acronym that we didn't know about. Like, Halo is an acronym in military slang, but it's not actually an acronym in the context of Halo, so that wouldn't work. Even though we very rarely say Plants vs. Zombies, we'll say like PVZ, because it's not actually the title of the game. That doesn't work. And I, pop on my Xbox, and there it is, ACA. It apparently stands for Arcade Archives. So every ACA Neo Geo game actually is eligible for this category. And I mostly put that out there in the context of Freemhole's Completion Challenge, because this means this is something you can, if you happen to get something along the way, that's great, but toward the end of the year when you're scrambling to get those last couple categories in, you can pop an ACA Neo Geo game. According to the research I was able to get done, the Arcade Archives actually started on the PlayStation 4, and ACA Neo Geo games are a subcategory within those games. Xbox has not received any Arcade Archives games other than ACA Neo Geo games, but Switch and PS4 both have, for whatever reason. Another game I had listed before I looked at the Game Pass delistings was D4, which handily spells out its acronym right in the game's proper title. D4 is completable. It's not terribly difficult, but I'd recommend using a guide if you're planning to use it for this purpose. It has decent ratios in the game because it was available for a while with Games with Gold. I feel like I don't think it was available more than once per se, but I feel like it was part of that program for some time. And a lot of people did just beat dive it because it was also an early Xbox One game. So there are a lot of casual folks who put it on their tag, so the ratio is a little inflated. And it is also a very backloaded game, so since you're not getting a lot of those achievements till the end because they involve collecting everything or putting in an X number of hours of gameplay time, that one would work. But the other one that came to mind that I've completed is actually Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, because that's one that you can still complete. And it is also on sale this week. So probably not a top pick for most people, but it is $5 down from $20, and it's not part of either the backwards compatibility or the ID at Xbox sale. It's part of some other Spotlight sale, because I don't believe it's backwards compatible. The other Army of Two games are, for whatever reason. It can be completed in 15 to 20 hours, but that estimate is a little misleading because you're going to need to grind the game at the end to get enough money to purchase all the stuff you need to purchase for the related achievements. You do need to complete the game twice. There is an insane mode achievement. But if Elle and I did it, you may feel me to be competent, but I had to carry Elle through this. So if we were able to do it... No, we have a long and fantastic history with the Army of Two games. But Elle, did you know that the 2 in Army of Two is an acronym?
I was going to ask why you picked this game.
Oh, yeah.
I had
the woman's ovaries?
No.
I do see that the 2 is all capital letters. So I guess that's interesting in that aspect. But
the 2 main characters at the conclusion of the first game form their own operative called Transworld Operations. So that's where the 2 comes from in Army of Two. So that the whole series would qualify, but not. This is the only one that's still completable, which is why this is the one I highlighted here. But it is a very competent third-person shooter. It is fun with a co-op buddy. So definitely, if you have someone you can play it with, go ahead and check it out. But that would also completely qualify for this category.
All right. Is Caitlyn Jenner a secret character in the game? There you go.
You're behind masks, so it really could be anybody.
Maybe. What? Very good athlete.
I think he's begging to talk. He's ready for his segment.
You mean Proclamation Point?
All right, everybody, it's time for your favorite segment and mine, Proclamation Point. Woo! What sandwich should I talk about?
A gordita.
The other day, Smitty said I should talk about pupusas. I don't know why. I mean, everyone likes bread, but they're not keto friendly. But the cheese part is pretty amazing. There's this fair near my house. They have pupusas all the time. It's like 2 little pieces of bread and some cheese, and it's like $5. Like, what the hell? It's just bread and cheese. It's delicious.
Are you confusing pupusas with mazzarepas?
Yes.
Oh.
Mazzarepas?
Yeah, that's like...
Lots of repas?
If you put a roofie in the mozzarella,
Okay.
you get a mozzarella.
And arepa is cornbread. It's cornbread. It's cornbread with mozzarella cheese melted in between two pieces of cornbread. It's delicious, and it has nothing to do with Proclamation Point.
How have I never heard of this? Hold on. Corn? You just said that there was a thing made out of cornbread and cheese.
Nate looks so weak right now.
We can't just skip over this.
Hey,
This
no
is a revelation. I'm sending this to my wife right now. She's asleep, but I'm waking her up. Mazza-rapists, you say. Okay.
No.
Oh my gosh. This is, I mean, it's probably a regional thing, but it's like a cornerstone of every street fair in New York City. And every year you go and you're like, didn't I pay $4 last year and it's $20 now? But they're delicious, so you pay it anyway. There, I sent you a link, Nate, and we can include that link in the show notes. It is a sandwich. It's cheese between 2 pieces.
That sounds,
Well, pupusa is
fun to say.
Peruvian. I believe it's Peruvian, right? Pupusa?
From El Salvador.
It's El Salvadorian.
Okay, Salvadorian.
So there you go. You can bask in the glory of mazzarepas.
It even has its own website. Did you create this website?
Just now.
That's not how you spell Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
Oh my goodness.
That one's layered, Michelle.
How long does it take you to New York?
That one is layered. Onions have layers.
In an hour.
Oh, that does look good. Wait, we're on Proclamation Point. Let's get back to this.
You have the power to edit this
What better?
out.
This is probably not getting edited out.
This is all B-side material for our...
Why would anyone want to hear milestones when we could talk about cornbread and cheese?
Our
I'm going to
passion
read
for
off
corn and
Proclamation
cheese.
Point. So for
Okay.
completions... We have 3 people were shouting out for completions, and what's funny is, well, you'll hear. Anyone want to pronounce the name of the first guy? I never get it right.
Poutine.
Poutine.
Vladimir Poutine.
Otherwise known as J Black. J Blackgate A has reached a new milestone of 165 completed games. Congratulations. Ben L72 has also reached a new milestone of 150 completed games. Now, I know you guys have the doc open because you're all good soldiers and paying attention to what we're doing, but Redemption Denied has hit yet another new games completed milestone. Either of you have a ballpark? Any of you have a ballpark guess?
8 million.
Considering I'm
8
looking
million's
at
good.
it, I don't think I should guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very accurate guess.
All right, excellent. Redemption Denied has hit a completion milestone of 315 completed games since we started recording this, for a grand total of 1,540 completed games.
Oh my.
He's a beast.
That is crazy.
He's a beast.
Quick story about Ben L's milestone.
Mm-hmm.
He had Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone ready to complete, but completed Bastion first because he didn't want Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone to be a milestone completion.
Yes.
That's respectable. That's and understandable. Yes.
Ow, goodness. Why?
But
Because
anyway,
that would
That
have
made me
wrecked
laugh.
his completion?
Oh, no. But yeah, we went through
That made
these
me
pretty
laugh.
quickly, but congratulations to all 3 of you. Al, I'm going to pass the baton back over. Yeah, good job, everyone.
That Mazzarepas has a mailing list.
Oh,
Koosh.
Jesus.
It has a what? Has a what? A male and a female version? What did you say?
A
a
mailing
mailing
list.
Yeah.
Oh, mailing list.
Continue on.
I mean,
Mazzarepos and
Vladimir
Mazzarepas.
Putin has also reached a new milestone of 53%. Way to go. And his Burnout Paradise buddy, Kingsman, has 14,000 achievements won, who is currently playing Burnout Remastered without us, so, he sucks. I mean, he's very good at the game. That's what I meant to say. Emperor L.
Hi, Nicel.
Who a.k.a. Nicel, yes. 5,750 achievements won. Dinalbull, 7,500 achievements. Xlax Jesta, 4,250. Wakapeil, 20,500. NBA the Kirkland, 22,000. Way to go, everybody. We're going streaking! Does anyone remember a guy named Elroy OMJ?
Love that guy.
I know that guy.
Damn, Kenny. Slow on the something today.
I'm
He
sorry, I'm
has
still looking
played-
at the Matsurapas.
Elroy has gotten an achievement on 650 consecutive days. Drew, 1,175 days.
No thanks to Borderlands, though.
And me, I'm Shadow Stevens. Who might get that shirt?
Yeah,
Sure.
I get it.
Okay. I apparently am on a 12,500 achievement win streak,
Jeez.
which is, 6.5 years old at this point? Yeah, enough about that. Alright. Gamerscore time. Death Dealers is at 90,000, and Spanky and Spronkles at 350,000 Gamerscore. Alright. TA score. Freak Servo is at 100,000 TA score.
Nice.
That's up into that 6 digit. And he just hit 60,000 last week, 2 weeks ago?
Yes. So he automatically has a better ratio than Elroy OMJ, who is at 900,000 TA score.
And 890,000 gamer score? Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
And Stan the Man has 1,150,000 TA score. Alright. On to some Vayners. I apparently I'm in the top 2,000 TA for Vayners. But more importantly, Rocker of Dude is third in the great state of Tennessee.
Hey. That'll be number
So
2 by the time
what
this
was the
podcast
last
comes out.
Vayner you were been playing?
Right before this, I played a little bit more of Danger of the Ooze, DMT.
Oh, I like Toidles.
Yep. Also did Song of the Deep, thanks to RTDL.
Oh, that's what she said.
10-second
And-
review, Song of the Deep.
I started to fall asleep last night playing it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I'm digging the
relaxing.
story
That's a
and
good-
the
it's a good
aesthetics. It's pretty calming for the most part. It's much more of a Vayner than Steamroll Dig. I'll give it that.
Oh, speaking of which, I bought a Vayner this week, Mamadoro.
Oh, hey, I bought that too.
And the lowest ratio in the game is to beat the game. And so far, I think it's pretty hard.
Really?
Yeah. I'm playing on normal with no guides, and
Well, that's good because achievements require you to play it on the hardest difficulty as well.
well, I believe there's one to beat it on insane difficulty, and you have to beat hard difficulty first. But
Yep.
there was an easy one. I just put it on normal, and yeah, the bosses whoop ya, and then you start back at the last checkpoint, so you don't get to start right away. Like most other games, hold your hand, I guess, and you start right away at the boss if you die at the boss.
This is old school.
Yeah, gotta go back to the checkpoint wherever you last saved it and get back there again. But I digress.
What about the boss fights? Are they lewd?
They are hard, but they are memorable and fun.
You would not play them in front of your son, right?
I would have played that one. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah. I fought the buxom lady. It was more humorous than anything else.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it whenever I get around
Yeah,
to it.
you can play it, but there's a really awful death screech when you die, so that's pretty bad.
Oh, well, play with the sound off. That fixes that.
No, the music's actually very nice, especially the boss music. Don't play in spaz mode. Play with the sound. What were we talking about?
Proclamation point.
High Road version 2 is now in the top 5 of the Colorado TA leaderboard for golf. Guess you have to be high to enjoy golf games, eh? And Mr. Sir JL, a.k.a. John Lovitz, Celebrated his birthday.
I thought you told me it was Junk Lover.
That's what he calls himself.
Oh, okay.
Whenever we're on the webcam together, he stares at my junk. So his birthday was May 20th.
Happy birthday.
So happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Except Rocker Dude with the full combo.
Oh, yes. Rocker Dude, 5012. With no rerolls and no asterisks at all, because he's not Barry Bonds. We'll explain that to him also. Or Roger Maris. No, he wouldn't get that either. Yes. Next week, I'm sure we'll have a roundup on the random to-do list, as May is almost over. Pretty sure we're whooping them RGS boys good.
Thank you.
All in due fun. And this is the first month, so maybe we need to improve upon it next month.
Yeah, well, if anyone has any ideas or wants to join us, maybe we could have a community team. We've definitely been talking about certain things to mix it up.
I'm all for the team game here.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of a team game, too, and getting more of the folks we see in Discord involved.
Seems to motivate a lot of people this month, so that's awesome.
Best month ever.
Yeah, some people care a little too much about whatever. I don't care if you curate, do what you want, just have fun, play. It's never going to be equal anyway.
That's the thing. Before I curated, we planned this month. Before that, I was uncurated for a good bit. A bunch of stuff I've played over the past 9 months were on there, but I don't want to play any of that stuff. So if it would have landed on my list, I would not have played it, and it would not have been as fun. It's about the journey. Journey's a band, foo-foo.
That was proclamation point.
So can we talk some more about Matsurepas now?
Oh, please. I've signed up. I've applied for a job.
I think I'm going to order these 3-packs because it's cheaper than getting them at the fairs.
I opened up the chat widget. I'm talking to Steve, who I don't think is really a Steve.
Esteban.
All right, well, that'll about do it for our part of the show. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like and review us on your platform of choice, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. If you would like to send us a Twitter tweet, on Twitter, at Acheesement101. You can follow our Mixer, mixer.com/AH101. Like we said before, Discord. Come join a community. Our Discord is discord.io/AH101. And don't turn this show off. We have a new segment coming up. It's a quiz with a very special guest that I'm not going to spoil. You'll figure it out in like 20 seconds or so. But with that, class is dismissed. See you next week.
So it's $9 for a 3-pack.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new segment we're trying out here on Achievement Hunting 101. This segment's going to be called, at least temporarily, Achievement Water Cooler Talk, but we'll probably shorten it to something a whole lot more snappy in the future.
Chivo Talk.
Chivo Talk? We'll call it Chivo Talk for now. So before I get into actually the meat of what we're going to discuss today, I'm going to explain a little bit of what we're trying to accomplish here. So most of us that listen to this podcast and other Xbox-related achievement podcasts are in it because we really like stats and figures. And one thing that we all use to accomplish that is true achievements. So Elroy actually had this idea that we should use true achievements and kind of find some interesting stats and figures and kind of talk them out and see what we find interesting. And of course, my brain works in all sorts of different ways, so I thought it would be fun if we kind of did it like a quiz show. And so what I did today was I found a list of an achievement-related topic that I'm going to ask our little panel about. But before I do that, let me introduce who's here today. I already mentioned Elroy. So Elroy, if you could say hi and just tell the world, although they should know already, what kind of achievement hunter are you?
Well, I am an achievement hunter with no life. I kind of just do it all the time, and it's, I consumed my life the last few years. I'm just all about the gamer score. So, just gamer score, baby. That's my motto. So, I don't care how terrible the game is. In fact, I really enjoy terrible games. That Wood game, what is that? Woody Adventures?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
boy.
the latest one, man. You got to try that one. That one is gloriously terrible. But I won't go dwell too much on that. I suppose we're not going to see that game on tonight's topic from what I've seen. So
It's not likely. It's not likely. But we'll see. We'll see. I think there's at least one surprise on the list.
Oh.
Next up, we have Kenny, the host of our illustrious panel. also known as Fufu Cuddly-Poo. So, Kenny, what kind of achievement hunter are you?
What's up, everybody? I'm more of the casual achievement hunter. I like going for achievements, but unlike Elroy over here, I want to play good games. The Woody whatever, not exactly my cup of tea. I would much rather spend my time going, spend 100 hours in Oblivion getting the 1750 gamer score, whereas Elroy's head might have just exploded by hearing that.
Awesome. And then finally, we have a brand new voice to Achievement Hunting 101, although you may have heard this name mentioned before, and also the second female voice, so I'm no longer alone. Yay. Let's welcome...
We have Ellie.
Oh, oops. Let's welcome Brooke to our little crew. And Brooke, please tell us, first say hi and introduce yourself a little bit, because everyone's heard us enough. And also, what kind of achievement hunter are you?
Oh, goodness. Well, what's up, guys? So I am not really an achievement hunter at all, but I love games. I love playing them. Frozen is my top #1 game right now. I'm working on those achievements. Not doing so hot.
Free-fall adventures?
Yes.
Is that the snowball?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I absolutely love them.
That's a toughie.
Yeah, but my gamer score is Tough Cookie 12. That's with multiple E's at the end of it. You'll probably never find me, but that's quite all right. Yeah, that's about me. I mean, I'm boring. I'm married to Foof. It's weird.
Hey, now.
It's fine. It's awkward.
I'm not liking this dynamic right now.
This was your call collectively, so yeah, get used to it, Kenny. You should be used to it by now anyways.
Yeah, he should. I mean, I always invade everything.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
And I think it's super valuable that you're here, because the topic we're going to be discussing today, or the topic you all will be guessing at, is which games are the top 10 most tracked games on True Achievements. And I like having a non-achievement hunter here, because it'll be interesting to hear what you think are games that people who play Xbox play. So just to explain real quick, we're getting this, I generated this list by using True Achievements. It's the top 10 games, again, by Tracked Gamer. This does not put together platform variations. So if you have a game like Frozen Freefall Adventures, which I have played on Xbox 360 and Xbox One, I didn't take the time to combine Xbox 360 and Xbox One. So any game that appears on this top 10 is just a single platform variant, just for clarification's sake.
Yep.
That being said...
That'd be an unfair advantage as well for some of these games. I'm just saying, we want to keep an even playing field.
Now,
right. And this
is Windows Phone included, or is it just Xbox 360, Xbox One?
I did a search for top 10, just anything tracked on the site. And I will say this as an aside. When you search for stuff like this on True Achievements, and when we're done going through the top 10, I'll explain to everyone how to find that information on TA so you can take a look at it yourself. By default, it includes apps. And fun fact, one app actually cracked the top 10. So before we get into the games, what app would you think cracked the top 10?
Oh, goodness.
I'm about 90% sure I know it, so you guys can guess.
I'm going to go with Solitaire then.
That's not an app. That's a game. It has gamer score. Elroy, get off the panel. So, Brooke, if you were worried about possibly giving a stupid answer and seeming like you don't know what you're talking about, Elroy just set the bar.
I love it.
Oh, man.
I got it downloaded from the App Store. Thank you very much. But,
I think I actually kind of have a guess. It's probably wrong. But Clash of Clans, maybe?
Clash of Clans is also a game, but doesn't carry gamer
my
scores.
bad.
Thank you, Brooke. Good answer, Brooke.
At least
Good
it doesn't
answer,
carry
Brooke.
gamer scores. Solitaire does.
Okay, listen,
Yeah.
hold on. I would just like to say that Elroy and I are very similar. And the fact of, what was the... Okay, hold on, I'm going to blank on the name again. That's
Rocket League.
Thank you. Yes. So we played Rocket League together, and neither one of us could get into the actual, gameplay with everyone else, but I will say I got in there before him. So.
Well, now it's 1-1 because your answer was worse than mine.
Boy.
All right, fair. All right,
Kenny, hold on. There could be a redeeming moment here. It could be all three of you sitting on the bench. Kenny
You're surrounded
claims
by
he
ineptitude
has
here.
an idea of what it is. So since everyone else guessed very poorly, Kenny, would you like to tell us what it is?
I'm going to go with YouTube.
That is correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like a
Actual
complete
app.
idiot now.
You know, not a game.
Right. and possibly by way of explanation, because Elroy doesn't know how to true achievements, and Brooke, you're pretty new to all this. An app is considered anything that they added achievements to but tracked no gamer score. So this would be things like YouTube and Netflix, WWE. When the Xbox One was launched, they had this idea of putting achievements in everything, and it really didn't catch on. So that's why
Terrible
YouTube
idea.
made an appearance on the list.
So there's no gamer score there, right?
No gamer score there.
Oh,
8 achievements.
moving on.
I
No
think I
gamer
need one
score.
achievement before I've completed YouTube.
But it would have charted at number 9. So it's
okay.
pretty
Take
popular.
it off the board.
And take that off the board. All right. Everyone understands what we're doing here? We got this. So,
Kind of, I guess.
okay. You three are going to be tasked with figuring out what the top 10 games, as tracked by gamers on True Achievement, are. And we spoke
I think
a
I
little
got
bit.
number 1.
Well, we spoke a little bit before, and I had asked Brooke, because Brooke is the most unfamiliar with this terrain that we're sailing along in. And just so you know, both Clash of Clans and Frozen do not hit the top 10.
Darn it. Guys, what are we
I asked
doing?
if she would like to go first.
Neither
Because
did Woody Adventures, I assume.
no, but that game is new. It has time. It has time.
Yeah. Time is on its side.
And that actually reminds me of a couple things. Do keep in mind, possibly to make it a little easier insofar as guessing, that True Achievements itself has been around since 2008. So there's a long history of tracking on there. True Achievements has had a couple of big influxes of gamers. First time they had an article featured on, I believe, IGN, and this was before the Xbox One. It was back in the Xbox 360 days, where they received so much new traffic and new trackers that it actually shut down the site for a couple days.
Oh, wow.
And the second time was when they released the Xbox One app for True Achievements. So it has had a couple of spikes in usership that may explain some of the trends we see on our charts.
All right.
Okay, that's all out there. So, Brooke,
Okay.
top 10 games on True Achievements, tracked gamers.
So
What's your first guess?
I'm totally gonna cheat, and that's only because my nephews play this game so much.
Okay.
Oh, she's going to pick the same one I did.
Probably. So I'm gonna go with Fortnite.
No, you dirty dog.
Fortnite
That was my first guess.
is incorrect.
What?
It's not even in the top 10.
Fortnite is not in the top 10 as tracked
makes
on True
me-
Achievements.
Wow.
That makes me really happy.
Do you know
but,
why?
It's sad.
Go ahead, Kenny. Why do you think that is?
It's a terrible game.
There are millions of 8-year-olds that disagree with you, Elroy.
Yeah, really.
There is 2 versions of Fortnite. There is the Battle Royale, which is immensely popular, and then there's the actual Fortnite game. The Battle Royale does not have achievements,
Right.
and that's the only thing anyone plays.
Right.
Oh.
And I would
Man.
wager that most of the kids who do play on PC. They largely, or other devices, sometimes mobile phone. That's probably not. It's something like Roblox is similar, where all the kids play Roblox, but I don't think I've ever seen one that I'm not related to play it on an Xbox. But that was a really good guess. That came from the right place,
Thanks.
but it is not correct.
Ah.
So
Do you know what number it was by chance?
I actually don't. I can tell you that I don't believe it was even in the top 100, and I believe that.
All right.
Probably not.
Well, I believe that's for the
I'm
reason.
I'm so glad you let Brooke go first.
Wow,
because
thanks.
That was not my guess. See,
It's okay.
I still got to get
Let's
you.
just edit him out.
I believe what Kenny said is correct, though, because the Fortnite you're thinking of is not the Fortnite with achievements on Xbox. All right, Elroy, I know you're just chomping at the bit to give us your guess, so why don't you go next?
Ooh, I got several to choose from here. So I'm going to go... Well, let me first preface this by saying that I think every game that I'm about to say is one that I will never play. And so I tried to think... that when I was making my list, I was thinking of what 10 games do I think that I would never play the most. So one that came to mind is one that I think is up there in the top selling video games of all time, if I'm not mistaken. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or whatever version. I forget which one it is. It's one of those Grand Theft Auto ones.
There's quite a few of them.
You gotta
This
pick
is very
one.
important. You
You
have to
gotta
pick
pick
the
one.
specific one
Oh God,
that you want on here.
That's actually a really
Shoot,
good
I
guess
don't-
if you guess the right one.
I don't know. I never played any. I accidentally played one back when I was doing Blockbuster games, and I played it. I played it for like one day, got an achievement. It's sitting on my tag, but I don't think that was the popular one. Is it 5? The Vice City or something like that?
5 is
that-
not Vice City, but it is not 5 or Vice City.
I don't
You
know
were
enough about
wrong.
them. I don't know enough about them to tell you which one's which. So, yeah, I was just gonna say Grand Theft Auto. Isn't there one called San Andreas? Or
There
something
is,
like that?
there is. Those are
Okay, let's go with that one. 'cause
PlayStation
That's the only
era.
one I know.
You're taking multiple guesses now, Elroy. But I collected a stat for this, actually. Across the top 10, there are a number of franchises represented. There are actually 7 franchises represented across 10 games, which means you do have some
Oh, okay.
franchises that have duplicate entries. So,
Interesting.
with that said, Grand Theft Auto is not one of those franchises. There is a singular
Wow.
Grand Theft Auto game that is in the top 10. So let's sit on Grand Theft Auto for a second. San Andreas and every other one you said is wrong.
Well,
They haven't been around
I
since
mean,
PlayStation
and
2.
those are the only ones I know. Is there Grand Theft Auto 1, 2, 3? Are they numbered? I really
You're
don't know.
still wrong.
Aren't they like? Is it like Fast and Furious or something like?
Is it like
I don't
Las
know how those
Vegas
things
or
work.
something?
I don't even think Las Vegas.
Hell, there could be a Memphis one for all I know. I never play these things. I don't know.
So Kenny,
Oh man.
as the person here closest to an achievement hunter who might play a AAA game, do you have a guess as to which Grand Theft Auto managed to make the chart?
Can I just say his first guess was wrong?
Yeah, I would.
Oh,
I'll cop up to that. I was signaling to Brooke that it was 5. I can't believe that's not on the top. In that case, if it's Grand Theft Auto, I would have to say 4.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 4 made the list at number 3.
That's crazy. That has more
Yes.
than 5 because 5 is the highest selling game of all time.
okay. I didn't make that up, right?
Highest selling game of all time
least up
and
there.
number tracked on true achievements are not necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
We got to remember where our
True.
source is coming from. And as we do these in the future, we may choose to look at things like monthly sale figures and cull information from there. But this time around, we're using true achievements. Grand Theft Auto 5 is on the chart, and
What
it is.
cities are these located in, so I can get a bearing on what we're talking about?
What do you mean?
Is it like Grand Theft Auto 5,
5 is just 5.
New York City or something? Or is it like...
I've already guessed the only Grand Theft Auto, so you don't got to worry about that franchise anymore.
Okay, I'm just going to mark it off my list here.
Let me make one point of clarification.
though.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is a good guess because it does have multiple platform variations. And Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox 360 charts at number 14, and Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Xbox One charts at, let me see, at 25. So they both chart within the top 25. That's 213,000 gamers plus 250,000 gamers. That's 460,000 tracked gamers, which would be far and away, if you put them both together, the top tracked game on TA.
That makes
It is not a
sense
bad guess.
because,
Yeah,
like you said in the beginning, it split the gamers.
correct. It just would have been entirely too long a process to try to find every platform variation and add them up.
Right.
Maybe TA has a way to do that, but I didn't discover that before I started researching. So we got one. We have the number 3 game out and some interesting information
All right.
about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Good to know.
All right, moving on. Kenny, this gets to be your first actual guess. So what are you thinking?
Probably one of the most popular franchises, and I know everyone and their brother played it. Call of Duty 4,
Woo!
Modern Warfare.
Oh, no.
What?
Really?
No.
I was just going to guess Call of
That
Duty.
that was the first game that got me into Xbox, and I played it all the time. I loved it.
Well, Call of Duty is a great guess. And remember before I was saying 7 franchises are represented on the top 10? And there are Call of Duty games. There are multiple Call of Duty games on the top 10. But Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare actually is not one of the ones that made the list.
Wow.
Yeah, it's close. It's close. It finished at 13. So it was right outside that top 10.
I guess that does make some sense now that I think about it and you say that. because that is the game that kind of got everyone started into it and everyone kind of piled in afterwards.
So if everyone piled in afterwards, what do you think might have made the top 10?
Would you like to guess, Brooke? Because I know that's the one that you played all the time.
Is it? Call of Duty Black Ops?
Black Ops did make the list.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh,
That's the one I love. I love that game.
Well, Black Ops charts at number 6 with 287,000 tracked gamers.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot of people. So, yeah, Call of Duty, you're right there on track. There is at least one more Call of Duty game on the list. So, while we're sticking with Call of Duty, any other guesses?
I don't know the names of any of them.
Ghost?
I'm serious. Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4
there are multiple Modern Warfares.
Oh, keep going along that thread of thinking, Kenny.
Ghost. Isn't there a Ghost?
It's not Ghost.
I literally just said that.
Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, did you?
Yes, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, interestingly, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came in at number 5, and it's tracked by an entire 10 more gamers than Black Ops.
Oh, wow. Just barely edged it out.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at 287,519 tracked gamers, and Black Ops at 287,509. Super, super close. And that is as much as Call of Duty is represented in the top 10. So good job getting those Call of Duties. We've got 3 of the top 10 out of the way already. So we're doing pretty good.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. Is Call of Duty Black Ops your guess, Brooke? Should I move back on to Elroy, or you want to take another guess?
Oh, I actually think I have one.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
What is it?
Are you ready for it? Don't laugh at me if it's wrong.
Try not to.
Red Dead Redemption.
You got one.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
That's a good guess. Yeah.
That was a great guess.
Thanks.
Red Dead Redemption comes in at number 8 on the top 10 list with 277,445 tracked gamers. Wow. So that was excellent.
Thanks.
Good job.
Unfortunately, I'm one of those. That was during the Blockbuster days, and
you saying unfortunately is just triggered Michelle and I.
What?
I'm
Red Dead
sorry.
Redemption is one of the greatest games of the last generation.
That is the most boring game I've ever watched him play. You're
Brooke.
welcome.
Thank you, Brooke.
My goodness.
Oh, look, I'm on a horse. Oh, yes.
Oh, I know, right?
I've never been in the presence of so much wrong.
Get a freaking car. Come on.
And John Marston is also one of the best protagonists of all time.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
we need to
doesn't
continue.
he die at the
Yeah,
end
we
or
do.
something like that?
Spoilers. I think at this point, it's that many years on.
I've never played it. I really couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you what any of the Call of Duties are called, so take it for what it's worth.
Well, so far, we're doing pretty well. We've already knocked 4 games off of the top 10 list.
Oh, I'm counting 5 off of there. You got YouTube. Don't forget that.
Oh, yes. So
not solitaire, but YouTube. That's a
10
very
with an
important
asterisk.
distinction. Yes. Yes. I think I got one.
All right, we're coming back around to you. So you did
Okay.
do well. You got the franchise right last time. But remember, we need the specific game. So go ahead.
All right. So Brooke was talking about how her was it your nephew played Fortnite and all that. Okay, well, let me tell you about my nephew. He not only had the Fortnite bug, but before he had the Fortnite bug, he had the Destiny bug. And he was all over that freaking game. And it seemed like everybody was putting in just like their whole life into that game. And I've never played it, but I've seen it played, and I don't get it, but it's got to be on the list.
It is not on the list.
What?
I would have thought the same thing.
Same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5, I would imagine, whereas Destiny has a 360 and a 1 version.
Right,
Oh
so
my
the one
gosh.
version
All
of
right,
Destiny
smarty pants.
charts at 34. And the 360 version actually isn't in the top 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
You know,
Destiny...
I actually feel good about that, but at the same time, I hate that I hitched my wagon to it. So,
I think Destiny, if I recall correctly, did have special advertising arrangements with Sony. So Destiny as a whole probably is a top 10 seller, but it definitely sold more strongly on PlayStation. That may be reflected in the numbers we're seeing here. So It is a good guess. And it did sell well, and I was at a midnight launch for it too, which I still regret very deeply. But it is not one of our top 10 games. However, it is a first-person shooter, and first-person shooters are pretty well represented on the list. I did a little research, too, about the different genres that are represented, and there are 4 total first-person shooters on this list. So we've already covered the Call of Duty games. So there are still 2 more first-person shooters out there that we have yet to reveal. And with that, Kenny, what are you thinking?
Well, one of the biggest first-person shooters, if not the biggest, on the Xbox platform, Halo, I would imagine is on there. And if I had to guess on which Halo specifically it is, I'm going to guess the Master Chief Collection.
Incorrect! Oh, no.
Da, da, da.
Master Chief Collection comes in at number 22.
Wow.
But here's an interesting side note about the Master Chief Collection. It actually is the number 1 tracked Xbox One game.
Huh.
So we don't have any Xbox One games in the top 10.
Oh, better modify my list.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that just changed everything.
Yeah, that's important.
That is important.
That's
right.
See, I was researching all these little nuggets to drop for you guys. You just laid it out very neatly for me.
I am now even further behind in this discussion because I did not really start Xboxing until the 1 days. So,
well, that took off my next guess.
We'll see what happens here. Okay.
That's why it's important to know our source.
I got one.
True Achievements being what it is, and the site being around since the Xbox 360 days. There's been a long time for these games to be tracked. Yeah. Master Chief Collection may eventually crest 300,000 people, but it's not there yet. That said, there is one game, and only one game, that has been tracked by over 300,000 people on TA, and we still have not mentioned it.
Huh. Well, we haven't got the top 2 yet, have we?
No, you have not.
All right.
You have gotten none of the top 10, Elroy.
Wait. I get half credit for the Grand Theft Auto, even though I don't know what the name of any of them are, but... all right.
All right, but Halo is definitely the right ballpark. So we're getting there. Yeah. So let's keep going down the Halo train. Halo is represented. But Brooke, I'm going to let you guess the Halo or Halos that made the list.
Or Halos?
No. Okay. Let's go with Halo 3.
That is the number 1 tracked game on True Achievements.
Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Whoa! Brooke is winning.
See, man, I was going between Halo 3 and Master Chief Collection, but the Call of Duty 4 thing, maybe it's like, maybe it's too old and it just doesn't count, so we'll do Master Chief Collection. I psyched myself out.
Yeah.
You sure did. Yeah, Halo 3 sits at number 1.
Is that like the most popular one, I guess? I mean,
yes.
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know anything about Halo.
The multiplayer in that was incredible. No game has matched it yet. Suck it, Fortnite.
Oh, all right.
Whoa.
Language.
Halo 3 was definitely a game I came to later, so I missed all that hype. But I remember when the Xbox 360 was out and fairly new, right after they announced Halo 3, I was at Video Games Live. Are any of you familiar with what that is?
I have no idea.
No.
Never heard of that.
Okay, so Video Games Live is an orchestra that plays video game music.
Oh.
And this
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's done by Tommy Tallarico, who was the composer behind Earthworm Jim, and he goes through and he makes arrangements of multiple game tracks, and you go and you hear an orchestra play them live. And it's
cool.
Everywhere. Like they do a big arcade medley, they do songs from Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario Brothers, from Civilization, so on and so forth. So the first time I went to go see Video Games Live, I'm really enjoying the show, but at the end they played this song I've never heard before because it was Halo music and I had never played Halo. And the crowd erupted because they all knew what Halo was. And at the very end, some dude dressed as Master Chief came running across the stage with like a Halo 3 flag. So it was a big deal at the moment it came out. That was really the marquee, this is what you're finally getting your 364 game. It was a big deal at the time.
Kenny would have freaked out.
The audience completely freaked out.
Is that the game where they it's like a meme thing where everyone's like doing the little kind of a thing, and it's like Halo. Okay, I got
with the monks chanting at the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And the composer for Halo was actually there at the show that day, and he explained how it was like 4 people in a bathroom who recorded that sound. But it's iconic, and people all know it. So There we go. Halo 3, we have found the number 1 game on the list, but we still have not discovered number 2. Elroy.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave the other Halo game to the professionals over there. I'm going to go a different
for
route.
that one.
I'll go with Bros of War.
The first one? The second one? The third one? Judgment 4?
Remember, it's on the 360, so it's...
Yeah, let's go with the oldest one.
Bros of War, the first, is number 4.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Nice.
Good job. You nailed one.
Yeah.
Gears of War comes in at number 4 with 289,361 tracked gamers.
Wow.
Super
That's
impressive.
awesome.
I'm surprised it took so long to get here because Gears is probably my favorite franchise on the Xbox.
Well, I was starting to think of what popular game have I actually played, and so that one was, yeah. that's the only game so far that I've played. That's the only one so far on the list.
Aww.
So far we have 6 of the 10 games so far, so we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty well so far. All right, Kenny, we've come back around to you. What do you think? Gun to your head. What's the other
before this gets too serious, I'm just curious. What was Gears of War 2? Did you see where that one was on the list?
Is that another guess?
Oh, I thought you said that. Okay, never mind. I defer.
He's saving that for when it's his turn again. Hoping it's
when it comes back around.
I'm totally stealing it.
This is what you get for speaking out of turn, Mr. Roy.
Did somebody say something about a gun? Gun to your head. Come on, Fufu. Gun to your head. You can only choose one.
I'm going with the orange box.
No.
Really?
No, the orange box is not one of those games.
Wow, with Team Fortress Portal and Half-Life, I thought for sure that was on there.
Yeah, the orange box is pretty. I mean, it's within the top 100, but it's pretty close to the bottom of the top 100.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm not sure why that would be, but I think with a game like Portal, for example, like that game was very big, but it also was available. And same with Team Fortress; these were Steam games, so it was cool for Xbox gamers to finally be able to play it. But they were really widely available on another platform for a long time. And most of the people who really dug into those things did it well before they had Xboxes, I think.
All right. That makes sense.
All right. It does make sense. Brooke?
I have 2. Can I say 2 so that way none of you steal it?
No, you gotta guess.
I'm going to defer to the panelists.
You can't reach your mind, so if you just say one, we won't be able to know what the second one is.
I don't trust you.
I would love to be a Jedi and be able to read your mind, but that's not how real life works.
So Brooke, pick one. And if one of these guys picks the other one, just say it was yours, and I'll ignore them.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so mine will probably be wrong, but you guys play it a lot, so I'm going to go with Borderlands.
Good guess.
That's a really great guess, but it does not make the chart.
Oh
wow!
It's a great guess.
Do you know what
though.
number?
And, Borderlands is. Let me see here.
That was actually my next guess.
It's number 18.
Oh,
so Borderlands it does well, and Borderlands is available in a few different ways, right? We do have a remastered edition and things like that. So when you combine all the player bases, something else to keep in mind that we didn't go too far into, but I think I grabbed a stat for that too. Across the list, there are 4 publishers actually represented on the top 10. So it's only 4 companies who've published these top 10 games, and half of them are Microsoft. And this makes sense because first-party games, this is the only place you can get it. So games actually published by Microsoft are going to have a stronger foothold on the Xbox. We're not counting all these other platforms. And I think that accounts for something like Borderlands not necessarily being in the top 10.
Okay.
It'd be interesting if you went on to, what is that, True Trophies, and looked at what their top 10 is and see if there's any crossover.
That sounds like a lot of work. But yes, it would be interesting.
maybe next
your
time.
homework. Maybe I'll give us an update next week.
All right.
Yeah. So
good guess though. So
Bros of War 2. Bros of War 2
you
for
did
the
it.
win.
Excellent. Bros of War 2 is in fact also on the top 10.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Bros of War 2 lands at number 9, I think, but I just lost my space here.
That was YouTube.
Yes, it was YouTube.
So is it a tie with YouTube? I got some notes.
Well, actually, I guess, YouTube must have been number 9. So Bros of War 2 is number 9. It has 276,894 tracked gamers. So not too far behind Gears of War. And just as a side note, so nobody guesses it, Gears of War 3 does not make the top 10. But it shows up shortly outside of it. It's number 11, actually.
Wow.
So all 3 of the first Gears of War games, they actually are in the top 11. So successful franchise, even though all of the games have 200-plus hour completion estimates. Also, I spoke earlier a little bit about the genres of the game. There were only 2 games that had third-person shooter as their primary genre, and that would be both of the Gears of War games.
Oh. What about Red Dead? Isn't that...
Red Dead is an open world, but also third-person. So there are 2 games on the list that... or 3 games on the list that had multi-genres. And in my brain, the 3 games are all open world. But yes, third person would also apply there.
What about Grand Theft Auto? Isn't that the same thing?
Same,
That's
right?
definitely open world.
But I always think of them as sandbox.
All right,
and I think
condescending foo-foo. That's about enough of you over
Try
there.
living with him.
Well, let's take a quick check-in on how we're doing. We have the first game. We figured out the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 9th. So we're still missing the 2nd, 7th,
I'm really
and
confused
10th.
where YouTube is now. I thought you said YouTube was 9. Now Bros of War's
This
9.
is games only list. Games only.
Oh,
No
okay.
apps.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm taking it off then. Gotcha. Okay, I'm taking notes over here. Okay.
And if I had to guess, although I trust that you will figure it out at some point, I think one of these remaining 3 games I'm eventually going to have to just tell you. But we'll see. We'll see.
You can give us hints.
Oh,
Kenny, we're back around to you.
that's... I might be thinking too much into what you just said, but...
I hope you are.
Scrabble.
I hope you are.
I know. Everyone listening right now is hoping I'm thinking too much into this, but it's one of the 360 games that they gave out with the 360, so you probably have played it, Hexic.
Excellent. That is, in fact, it.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
Oh, man.
Well done.
Check out the big brain on food.
Well
Loser.
done. Hexic HD has a few things that make it unique amongst the rest of the games on this list. It is the only Xbox Live Arcade game. It is the only game with 200 gamer score. Don't hurt yourself, Elroy. It is the only game that is a puzzle game on this list. And it actually has one of the shortest completion estimates at 20 to 25 hours.
Can I ask
Man,
a
that makes you feel
question?
better about that.
Of course.
Who actually plays this game?
I love
No,
Hexic.
like I'm
Great
being
question.
for real.
I was gonna
Like
say,
I
once
tried.
Again, you just triggered Michelle
I'm
and I.
so sorry.
No, it's okay. So Hexic...
Brooke, I got you
Thank
back.
you.
It's a terrible game.
I agree.
20 hours for 200 gamer score, moving little pieces around. Give me
It's
a break.
also like really boring.
Yeah, I think
I will agree that Hexic is like many puzzle games. That first, half hour or whatever of play is boring as you get up to where it starts to be more difficult. Mm-hmm. And then it gets to be interesting.
Yeah,
So there's a bit of a slog there.
but-
I do agree with that. But Hexic has a good pedigree. It's developed by the guy who developed Tetris, and I love Tetris. So Hexic was a natural fit. But Kenny's right. The reason why it tracked so well is it came free with every Xbox 360. Also, something to keep in mind with this game and all the games on this list, it's backwards compatible. It's still accessible. And that's the case for every game that made the top 10. So good.
What number?
Good job.
What number was that?
That was number 7.
Oh,
Also, it has the distinction of being the game with the highest TA ratio on the list at 3.578.
I don't know what that means. So good for you
Means you
guys.
wanna play it.
Woo!
This is a good point. If you're not familiar with True Achievements, the whole hook of True Achievements was it wasn't fair that you would finish Expert on Guitar Hero and only get 10 measly gamer score.
Yep.
Because it's hard. So based on rarity of the achievement, you get a multiplier, and that's the TA ratio, and that multiplier becomes your true achievement score. So what it should really be worth based on how hard it is to get with rarity as an approximation of that. It's all very nerdy stats things.
yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
So then, basically, you spend your 20 hours to get 600 TA. Oh my goodness!
716, thank you very much.
You go, girl. That's right.
I don't have the completion, but one other
impossible.
thing to note about Hexic HT is it actually has, unsurprisingly, the worst overall rating on TA of the top 10 games.
I mean, I wonder why.
Yeah, 2.8 out of 5. Every other game on this list has over a 4, though. So these are all well-regarded games. We have 2 more games, though, to get to. One is in a franchise we've already noted, and one is not. Brooke, you said you had 2 guesses before.
I know. It's going to be so wrong.
Well,
it can't be worse than
Okay,
Hex.
so I don't know, like, a lot of games. I probably just sounded like super Valley Girl. I'm so sorry.
As long as you don't say Candy Crush, we're okay.
I hate that game, so no. I was honestly thinking Titanfall.
Oh, such a good game.
That's a good guess.
No, it's not.
Only because I feel like it's really popular.
That was a good guess.
That might be because you watched us play it for hundreds of hours.
That's very true.
Titanfall is in the top 100. It's somewhere right there in the middle in the 50s or 60s. It's actually not far removed from Destiny. Titanfall is also a game that had platform variations. It came out on the Xbox and on the Xbox One and on the Xbox 360. And it is tracked by almost 200,000 gamers. So popular choice, good choice. It's just not enough to hit that top 10.
I'm really glad I'm not the next person because I have no idea what the next 2 games are then.
I'm going to start dropping more hints as we get further in, but Elroy gets no hints. So, Elroy.
I haven't guessed it.
Man, I got 2 that I really like, 2 that I've played, and I don't know where they rank on there, so which one to go with? I think this one's probably more popular, but then you said exclusivity was a key to this, so why not? It's my favorite 360 game, so let's go with Dead Rising.
No. No, Dead Rising is not on the list. Dead Rising's a really good choice, though. I know. It's really, really good. I'm actually surprised about that one. I
gotta know what number it is.
Dead Rising is also in the top 100, but actually not. It's pretty close to the bottom of it. In fact, Dead Rising 2 is actually tracked by more gamers.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Good guess. Definitely an exclusive game. Still tracked by 140,000 people of about 400,000 registered. So solid appearance. But
that's what got me into the whole mess.
Good game.
Yeah. Kenny, we're back around to you.
Hold on. Before he says it.
Yeah.
I thought about this.
I'm not going to say it.
Really? You're going to let me say it?
No. Actually, maybe I will say it so then I can watch you 2 try to guess the last one. Because I'm 99% sure I know what it is.
How do we not have the number 2 game?
I think he's about to say it.
Okay. I'll take a shot at it. And if nothing else, it's probably the one in the franchise that you mentioned. Assassin's Creed 2.
You jerk! That was my next one.
Assassin's Creed 2 is correct. It comes in at number 10.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it.
I thought about it, and then it went out of my brain because I couldn't remember the name of it.
I thought for sure you were going to say it, Elroy, because you love 4.
It was.
And
I thought you were setting that up too.
Where is it? Right there.
Oh,
See it on camera?
it was on his list.
I went with Dead Rising instead of Assassin's Creed 2.
Gosh darn it.
I just reached
I'm
out
always
there
asleep
and
tonight. You did. You stole it right under me.
Assassin's Creed 2 would have been bumped out of the top 10 had YouTube stayed in, but screw YouTube. Assassin's Creed 2 absolutely deserves to be in there.
In your face,
So
YouTube.
good.
It also has a couple unique identifiers about it. It's the only game on the top 10 published by Ubisoft. It's the only game that qualifies that is in the stealth genre, and it's also the game with the lowest TA ratio at 1.207.
That's
So
really
apparently people on TA aren't really huge fans of quick completions, Elroy.
Yeah, I see.
Also, Assassin's Creed 2 is one of only a couple games that don't have DLC. So Hexic, Modern Warfare 2, and Assassin's Creed 2 don't have DLC. The other 7 do. And Hexic and Assassin's Creed 2 are the only games that don't have an online component also. So we see some trends kind of in the games that people enjoy to play on TA.
Well, all right.
I need some hints. I have no idea what's next.
Well, it's in Halo. It's in Halo.
We know it's a Halo. So that's
I've been
as big a hint.
throwing a hint out there.
You have? How?
Is it a visual hint?
Just pick a Halo between 1 and 8. I don't
Okay.
know, however many there are.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
How many Halos are there?
Well, there are 5 numbered Halos.
Oh, okay.
And then there's Halo Wars, Halo Reach, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 3 ODST, Halo Wars 2.
I feel
Spartan Assault.
I don't know what that means.
It's another Halo.
Again.
That's an app. So
I would not know the difference. Let me see. It's coming to me. I really feel the need to say Halo.
She is looking at me to try to give her a hint, and I'm not going to give it.
Halo Reach.
You got
There
it!
you go.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to
Woo.
it.
Oh man.
Sorry if that
Halo
I
Reach
just screamed
comes
in your ear. I can't really tell the difference with these headphones.
No, it's all good. Halo Reach comes in at number 2 with 295,058 tracked games.
Yeah, go Halo.
Good lord.
Yep, so Halo has the number 1 and 2 positions, which is awesome, especially if you're Microsoft, who is the first-party publisher of that game. And then, of course, like we mentioned before, they have Gears of War at 3 of the top 11 spots. So their own games perform fairly well. So that's it. We have the top 10. I'm going to read them off really quick so that you can hear them. These are Halo 3, Halo Reach, Grand Theft Auto 4, Gears of War, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, Hexic HD, Red Dead Redemption, Gears of War 2, and Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow.
That's a good
quite a
list.
I knew
Exciting
the
times.
majority of them. I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone out there is actually curious to see this list yourself, I'm just going to go through real quick how you can navigate to TA and check out this information on your own. You're just going to go ahead and point your browser to trueachievements.com. On the top there, you'll see main menu. You just want to hover over the drop down there. You're going to see under the gaming headline, Xbox games, and that will give you the full list of all games on Xbox. At the top of the list, you'll see stat categories, game, score,
Gamers.
TA ratio. You're going to go ahead and click gamers. And then, because YouTube is a terrible thing, we're going to go ahead under more filter options, which is that blue button on the upper right, and you're going to take the title type box, and you're just going to hit the drop down there and pick games only. And that'll let you see the top 10, top 100, top however many games by tracked gamer.
Oh, Fallout 3. Man, I would have thought that was higher.
I played that one on the PC.
Of course you have.
Well, now that I'm looking
Working
at
my
like
typing
all
skills.
these games, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these should be on the top 10.
Oh, I can't believe nobody guessed Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft was really surprising to me, and Bioshock, that they are both
I forgot
well
about
outside of
Bioshock.
the top 10.
Well, I didn't even think about Forza. I mean, that's super popular.
That's kind of niche.
Right.
Oh.
Niche. Whatever.
I feel like,
I'm wrong. It's fine.
Well played.
well, another thing to note is the when these were released. The most recent games on the list were released in 2010. So they've been sitting for a while, which helps them obviously get more tracked gamers. And this isn't like previous console generations where the Xbox One came out and now nobody's going to be playing them anymore because all these games are backwards compatible, and many of them have been available either through Games with Gold or very, very cheaply through sales. So they kind of have continued life to them. It's not, I'm sure if we check these numbers in a couple weeks, it's not going to be exponentially more people, but there'll be slightly more. And maybe even Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2 will flip-flop places since there's only 10 people separating them.
True. Wow. That is interesting. That seems like a nice rabbit hole to go down during a lunch break or something.
All right. Any other thoughts as to the top 10? Any other trends? Any of you see that?
I see a trend.
What's that?
I don't play any of these.
Same.
I've never played a single minute of Halo, any of them, Halo 1 through 8. I've never played, I played like 20 minutes on Grand Theft Auto, and that might include time to get it inserted into the 360 and back in the envelope, shipped back to Blockbuster. And then, so just Gears of War and Assassin's Creed 2 are the only ones I've really played. So,
and I'm
just kidding, not same. I've played a few.
Okay.
I have played all 10. And it's actually funny because Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2, I think the only Call of Duty I've played other than those two is Call of Duty 3. So it's not like I play a whole lot of Call of Duty. I just happen to play the two that are on the list here. I hate Grand Theft Auto, but I still felt the need to buy it, and I did, and I hated it, but it's on my tag. So, yeah. And these are games that have some long lists in terms of achievements and getting completions. Yeah. So it's interesting to see that there's definitely, as much as TA really appeals to a hardcore achievement hunter in terms of staying on the site, a lot of casual folks have registered who really only play that top level release, and we can see that in the numbers here.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the top 100, and it's kind of surprising because this was actually one of my guesses until you said 360 only. But Rocket League appears around number 80. I can't believe how low that is.
Yeah. I found the same thing also, like you mentioned before, Minecraft wasn't tracked very high. But then I was also surprised at a game like Sunset Overdrive, which actually is right around Minecraft.
Wow.
I'm just trying to figure out where you're seeing, like, the number spots. Can you show me that?
It's just a rough guess on where that Rocket League was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like you're wrong.
I mean,
it doesn't actually. Unfortunately, TA does not put a number at the front of the list so you can see which one's won. Each page displays 100, so we're just kind of guessing based on where it is. But even something like Left 4 Dead doesn't chart particularly high. But it's, like, right on top of Game Room, which... Game Room? Like,
that's really surprising.
Weird.
That's there.
Yeah, but it was also free to get on your tag.
That's true.
So that explains that too. Same with Doritos Crash Course, which is around that part of the list too.
And Harm's Way.
Wow. Doritos. That sounds delicious.
The Frozen Freefall Snowball Fight looks like it's in the top 600 if I would.
I love that game. It's so great.
It's kind of fun to see which games it beat out.
Well, before we keep going too much down this particular rabbit hole, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. So thank you, all three of you, for playing along, and Elroy for coming up with the idea.
This was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll come back with more topics like this. So if you have any topics that you're interested in hearing us possibly do a little deep dive on the stats, let us know in the Discord. Discord.io/TAH101. Did I get that right? Is it AH101? Kenny, help me out.
Discord is discord.io/AH101.
AH101. Excellent. So join us in the Discord. Let us know if you have other topics you'd like us to dive into. Let us know what you thought was in the top 10 or you found surprising did not make the top 10. Brooke, thank you very much for joining us for the first time. It was awesome having you here.
It was actually a lot of fun. I kind of hope you guys want me back because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
What's up, everybody? X here with a lightning quick VSS quickie. I guess that means it's double quick? And since these are already pretty quick without Elroy around, does that make it quadruple quick? Anyway, I'm sure you've all missed very sequential segments since you guys offer so much feedback every week, and it makes it very obvious that you all listen and don't just skip over the segment. Well, I'd hate to upset the masses with another week of disappointment, so I present to you the top one, just one, achievement that describes my mood right now. Whew. That achievement comes to us from Sinner, Sacrifice for Redemption, and the achievement is called Frustration Leads to Anger. So why am I frustrated? Well, for starters, I'm a teacher, and it's May 23rd, so that should answer most of your questions right there. I have 9 days of classes left, and these little bastards want nothing to do with it. What's that? You want us to read The Great Gatsby? Nah, I'm just gonna go on my phone the entire period, because even if I fail fourth quarter, I still pass for the year. Oh, vocab quiz? Let me proceed to write you random sentences that don't even contain the words about why I don't care about this quiz. What? Giving me a detention? I'm just not gonna go, and then they'll give me a day of in-school suspension, and I can sit and do nothing. That's more or less the voice that I hear students speaking in, because they're so annoying right now. I am so tired of their attitude. Must be nice to think the world revolves around you, no? I feel like I speak for all teachers, at least in America where teachers are treated like crap, when I say that students in May are literally, and not figuratively, the worst. End rant. Sorry about that. So, why else am I frustrated? Responsibility sucks, man. Where the heck did all my free time go? Oh yeah, it went to writing and recording this. And then once I'm done recording, off to the chiropractor I go, since getting old means you now have back pain. Lame. At least I can take solace in the fact that the students who annoy me on a daily basis will someday suffer the same pains as I do. Except I hope theirs are worse, which they probably will be, since they sit with their heads angled down staring at a screen all day. I'm not a doctor or a chiropractor or anything, but that really probably isn't good for your spine. But what do I know? I'm just an English teacher. So you may be wondering what on earth me ranting has to do with the achievement. Well, you earn this one by repeatedly getting knocked into the abyss by Adam. I don't know who Adam is, but man, I sure feel like I'm repeatedly getting knocked into the abyss of responsibility. And, you know, the only way to climb out of this abyss of responsibility is to do some adulting, which is like laundry and dishes and taxes and thank you cards and blah, stuff that nobody wants to do, but you have to do because you're an adult. The second half of the achievement is anger. So you're probably wondering, why are you so angry, X? And the answer is that I'm outraged with my new upstairs neighbors who are colossal a-holes. You want to know what the soundtrack to my life has been the past few months? Stomp, 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 stomp. You probably heard a few stomps in the background while listening, because they're stomping right now, and I hope they hear me. They also talk really loud when they walk through the hallway right outside my door. It's like they want all the neighbors to hear about their personal lives. They also enjoy inviting their drunk friends over in the middle of the night and starting a chorus of stomp, stomp, and pooh from dropping bowling balls on the floor. Why does somebody have so many bowling balls? Why do they need that many, and why do they need to drop them? Oh, and also, let's just move furniture at 3 in the morning, because why the heck not? God, I hate them. They do have a cute cat, though, but beyond that, they're awful. And that's why I'm angry. So, yeah, this achievement is super fitting because I spend my whole day frustrated with lazy, clocked-out students, only to come home to be angry at my neighbors. It's a good thing I have Jeffy to keep me company, though. He always cheers me up. In fact, he's here right now. Why don't you say hi, Jeffy? Hey everybody, just want to let you know that I got something really cool in the works and I think you're going to dig it. It may or may not be bamboo related. And by that it means it involves bamboo. I'll be in touch soon. Alright. So there you go guys. Quadruple Quickie VSS in your face. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Top 28 Xbox 360 backwards compatible games in my tabs.
Bend Bugs, Cars International Championship, Crystal Quest, and Cleverman Experiment, Domino Master, Disney's Bolt, Fable Heroes, Grip Shift, Go Go Break Steady, Funtown Mahjong, Hardwood Backgammon, Hardwood Hearts, Hardwood Spades, Mad Balls and Babbo, Invasion, Persona 4, Mutant Storm Reloaded, Mutant Storm Empire, Radiant Silvergun, Spec Ops, The Line, Space Draft, Face Arc, Soul Trio Solitaire, Small Arms, Texas Hold'em, The Outfit, Unbound Saga, Word Puzzle, Ticket to Ride.